you get personalized coaching, lifetime support, and results guaranteed in the first week. Finally, a program that makes sense and creates lasting change. To kickstart your transformation, visit awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
Fall is here, and the bees are buzzing. Keep your home cozy with a heating tune-up from Call the Bee. Your system will thank you when the cold nights roll in. Need something bigger? We've got you covered with free estimates on HVAC replacements and financing options to make upgrading easy. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.b.com to schedule. Call the Bee Connecticut. Plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical professionals. We'll be there, and we'll be fair.
Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Over the years, the bathroom has gone by many names. The French called it the smelly house. The Egyptians, the house of horrors. If either of these describe your bathroom, well then it's time to visit Modern Plumbing Supply. Let our seasoned staff assist you in selecting the perfect items to transform your bathroom into your own personal oasis. Now, doesn't that sound much better? Modern Plumbing Supply on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. I will definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of... Here we go. At CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
How y'all feel out there? What's going on, all you scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, all hell and the left? How y'all doing? You know what time it is. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080, one of my favorite rap groups. I'm always tempted to say it the way that they do. They used to say, you know what time is it? That's the Far Side out of the West Coast. It's one of my favorite groups. Thank you, Wendy. I'm begrudgingly a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan because I really, really love anybody who can play the bass well, and Flea plays it astonishingly well. Of course, the guys who do the theme song to this very program, The Panics, their bass player, D Snake, is one of my favorites. I love watching him live. I love the band, but I'm a bass guy. And D Snake of The Panics plays the bass so well. And he's effortless. That's the one thing I love about a bass player. He's effortless. He doesn't even like rock out real hard, but the bass is just moves me. I almost feel the bass in any record flowing right through my heart. It's an amazing feeling. I totally get the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I got introduced to them in the 90s with Fishbone, of course, Fish. Who else was I introduced to at that time? Jane's Addiction was another band that I was into. Whoever was in a Lollapalooza when it started was a band I was listening to. Also, I have to give a big shout out to a group I loved and I will always love, even though it was a short-lived a group, and that is, why am I forgetting the name now? It just came to my head. Oh, my goodness. I know. Why am I forgetting their name? It'll come to me. Their lead singer passed away. I saw them in concert, and for the love of goodness, I've forgotten their name that fast. They were right there on the tip of my tongue. Rooster. Goodness gracious. Why did I go blank? I better check my memory banks. I got to do better. Anyway, enough of that. I've got so much stuff to get into today. Allison Change, thank you, Wendy. Why did I forget their name? So much stuff to get into today. And it's a lot of local stuff, a lot of, I would say, national stuff. Nothing really international today. But what I knew was going to happen is happening, and now it's out in the open. I'll talk about that in the second part of the opening monologue. Because I knew there was a weird reason why this guy couldn't stay out of the limelight. And it's because he feels threatened. And I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out who I'm talking about without even having to say his name. And that is Barack Hussein Obama. And Sunny Houston of The View, she let the cat out of the bag on that program. I think it was today. And I'll play that audio for you. And I called it a long time ago. You don't believe me? Go to my Substack. Go to my Substack at reasonoradio.com. Link onto it. And you can see the article I wrote months ago about how it was always about Obama when it comes to Donald Trump. We'll get into that. But I've got to ask the question, for those of you who have been saying it, thinking it, even confused, and I don't mean just folks on the left, I mean people on the right as well. What say you now about Donald Trump and the world stage? Regardless of the Gaza deal and the Israel deal, no, I'm not even counting that. I don't even want to count the recent victory of that because that's not over yet. A lot of this stuff, I always say the perception is 90% truth. What people see, they perceive as fact. And we can take Donald Trump going to Israel. We can even go so far as Donald Trump going to Egypt 45 minutes later. And with all of those foreign dignitaries all flying out to Egypt to go be with him, to stand behind him as he signed that peace accord. That should be enough to tell everybody, we were wrong. We were wrong. This guy is not an embarrassment on the world stage. Today, if you had to compare presidents, how well would Donald Trump stand up? I'll go one step further. Let's consider the adversaries, if we have to count them. And then ask yourself if these adversaries are important enough to measure the level of embarrassment for Donald Trump on the world stage. Who would they be? The mullahs in Iran? Vladimir Putin, who, by the way, recently said in a press conference that Donald Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. But consider the fact he has been pretty strong-armed on not stopping the war with Ukraine, Vladimir Putin, that is. How about Xi Jinping? We appear to be in another trade war with them. Donald Trump has suggested that we should put 100% tariffs on anything they ship to the United States. That's a contentious relationship, so let's consider those three. The Ayatollah, Vladimir Putin, and Xi Jinping. and then everyone else. Would you still call him an embarrassment? Which is what all of you said he was. What all of you said he would be. Where are you now? I'm just asking the question. Why would those people, those folks, fly all the way out to Egypt to go meet with that president for his limelight? To go there and praise him, shaking his hands. Can you help us with this? Can you talk to us about that? Will you? What was it? I don't even know which dignitary it was. Which world leader was it was begging to meet with Eric and Donald Trump while he was there? I just saw it on X a couple of hours ago. Can you please bring your sons? We are very, very serious. We need to speak to your sons. Begging the President of the United States to assist them and to help them. Pakistan, the folks that were harboring the biggest terrorist ever, Osama bin Laden, this man deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, they said, on the world stage. What, folks? What more do you want? Am I supposed to believe you? Am I supposed to consider you when the actual world leaders are there? What was it, more than a dozen, close to 2 dozen, standing there behind him, singing his praises? Am I supposed to believe you? You make it very difficult to. You make it incredibly difficult to. And you know who's also hurting it? I'll go one step further. Your beloved media. Your beloved media that you trust. No, not Fox News. You hate them. Everything they do is a lie. Remember? I want to go to the places you quote all day, every day. And by the way, I think I have some beef with Wall Street Joe today. I'll talk about that in a minute. But listen.
If President Obama's going to write a whole post about a peace deal, maybe he should acknowledge the president that brokered it.
Damn! Did Abby Phillips just call out President Barack Hussein Obama? I said, if you're going to talk about it, sing some praises on the man that we all hate. I found that to be a little bit odd.
If Obama's going to write a whole post about a peace deal, maybe he should acknowledge the president that brokered it.
If this ends, Donald Trump deserves credit regardless of anything else you feel about Donald Trump.
I really commend President Trump and his administration, as well as Arab leaders in the region, for making the commitment to the 20-point plan.
What? What? Is that crooked Hillary Rodham Clinton? Again, back to you folks. Should I believe you? Should I believe you, his biggest adversary in the last 20 years, Hillary Rodham Clinton, giving him praise? I find that odd.
And seeing a path forward for what's often called the day after.
I don't trust Donald Trump. There's no reason to trust Donald Trump. But I will, of course, work with any administration that wants to achieve those things.
You may not trust Donald Trump, but what has been achieved here so far is something that was not achieved by President Biden, with the potential end of the war and all of the hostages being turned over.
Do you agree with that? Should he be commended?
Look, I don't think that we should hold in credit where it's due. I commend the people who have been a part of this process. I commend the Qataris, the Egyptians, and the president.
Oh, goodness. That must have been like pulling teeth for her. I know you recognize the voice. That there's Kamala Harris.
Is there any message you'd like to send to President Trump after the release of these hostages today?
Look, I'll thank him.
How much credit does President Trump deserve for this deal?
I think he should get a lot of credit. I mean, this was his deal. He worked this out. He sent Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, over to negotiate this, and so far has gone well.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Hopefully the hostages get released here. Might not be within 24 hours, but certainly I think by Monday. And that's progress.
It's a terrific day for the hostage families. It's a terrific day for President Trump, for our national interests. You're right. We don't know how the story ends, but stories are made up of chapters.
How can we all celebrate this thing? I mean, you've had human beings held underground for over 2 years and tortured and beaten and starved, forced to dig their own graves and things. Now they can finally come back home. And now everyone should be celebrating these things.
Do you give him credit for this?
Oh, certainly. I mean, this is an incredible accomplishment, an incredible moment. You have to look at the moment and say just ending the war and getting the hostages home is an incredible accomplishment. It was a long time coming, to be sure, but
I don't even need that anymore. I really don't. We all know what the deal is. But because I'm petty, just because I'm petty, and I have absolutely no shame about it, I want to go back. You may have heard in that montage, supercut as we like to call them here on the show, that people were giving credit to Jared Kushner and giving credit to Steve Witkoff. I want to take you back to Adam Shifty Schiff when he was talking about Steve Witkoff and his appointment as the negotiator by Donald Trump. Again, you guys echoed this.
When he ran into Donald Trump in a deli in New York, and Trump was out of money, and he basically bummed a ham and cheese sandwich off of Steve Witkoff. Witkoff bought him a ham and cheese sandwich. Well, apparently that was a real bonding experience. So if you want to get on the president's good side, buy him a ham and cheese sandwich. Anyway, after that, they started playing golf together. And you might ask, what better qualification could you have to be an envoy to the Middle East and Russia than a ham and cheese sandwich, real estate development, and golf? But those are pretty solid criteria in Trump world. So he has made envoy to the Middle East and envoy to Russia. This is where he will have and is having a seminal and destructive impact on the foreign policy of the United States. What he's really done is carry the most awful, false Kremlin talking points, carry the dirtiest of water for the Kremlin.
Yeah. Adam Shifty Schiff. That's what he said about Steve Witkoff. How about Dana Bash and John King? What did they have to say about Donald Trump back in May, ladies and gentlemen, when it came to peace in the Middle East and brokering a ceasefire and an end to the war between Israel and Gaza, or Hamas for that matter? What did they say? Remember, these folks are the experts.
The premise of this whole conversation was an expectation that Donald Trump himself set in the campaign, which is, I'm going to fix all of this. And a lot of people believed it. It turns out even the Hamas terrorists, apparently, who were holding hostages.
Yeah, they wanted...
Who?
Terrorists.
We're afraid of Trump.
Yeah, they wanted Kamala to be chosen. To be elected.
You talked politics with them?
Yeah. They wanted Kamala to be elected.
The war is definitely not over, and not all hostages are out.
Not all hostages are out. And again, another thing that Donald Trump said would end. But the rest of the world is saying Donald Trump cannot be trusted on these issues where America used to lead. There is American leadership here. It's Netanyahu, do whatever you want. It's not, how do we end this? Where's an American president to try to figure this out? He just wants Gaza emptied so they can build hotels.
I think it's the same idea of what we were talking about with Ukraine, is that he didn't understand why it wasn't being done before he was there. Then he got into office and realized, wow, this is really, really hard. So, and now he's turned his attention elsewhere.
It's not black and white.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
So again, I ask, should I believe you? Should I believe them? Who's trustworthy here? Again, we're talking months ago. Donald Trump couldn't possibly get this done. He is a joke on the world stage, they told us. And many of you, you know who you are. You repeated it like the parrots. Not even an original thought. You've sent me every message. See what they're saying? See what they said? As if that was evidence. A lot of us just sat by. Many people got outraged, and you know who you are. People got outraged. You hear what these people are saying? You'll say, I don't care what they're saying. What they say has no weight. What they think has no weight. Especially when they're in the business of being the opposition party, the opposition leaders, and just pretty much the opposition. How effective do you think Saturday's protest is going to be? How important, how relevant could it possibly be? When all of the sting is out of the Middle East. All of the sting is out of Donald Trump being an embarrassment on the world stage. When Arab nations are behind the president of these United States. They weren't even this united when Barack Hussein Obama went across Egypt he went to in Cairo and gave his apology tour to the Muslim world. What did it get us? Nothing. And here's Donald Trump. Like I said, I'm petty. I'm very petty. When we come back, speaking of Barack Hussein Obama, why is he still out there? I'll explain when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I'm retired, newly retired, so this was my first summer not working again. But I had problems with my shoulder. I mean, it was just like 1,000 needles going into my shoulder.
Mike didn't want surgery. 6 months in a sling was not how he planned to spend retirement. That's when he heard about QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
It's a free appointment. And after the first treatment, the next day, I went out and played golf. The pain just wasn't there.
No drugs, no surgery. Just your body's own natural healing power. Orthobiologic concentrated and placed exactly where you need them to go to work.
I couldn't have asked for a better experience. I don't want to take on Mike Tyson, but he'd know I was there.
Now Mike's heading back to QC Kinetics to get his knees treated.
It changed my first summer being retired. It's one I can remember instead of regret.
Get back to doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today to schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can play a part in saving lives. Make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Saturday, October 25th at White Memorial Conservation Center in Litchfield. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/LitchfieldCO. That's afsp.org/LitchfieldCO.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
And now, a WTIC news update.
59 degrees, cloudy skies in Hartford. Good afternoon, I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News. We have some traffic problems to tell you about. A crash on I-84 eastbound between exits 28 and 30, and in Bridgeport, a crash, two vehicle on Route 8 northbound between exits 2A and 2B. President Trump says the U.S. has struck another small boat accused He says the U.S. has struck another small boat accused of carrying drugs in the waters off Venezuela. Madagascar President André Rajoelina has been toppled in a military coup which capped weeks of youth-led protests over poverty. Russian President Zelensky says Russian forces have launched powerful glide bombs and drones against Kharkiv and hit a hospital. Officials say the attack on Ukraine's second-largest city, wounding 7 people and forcing the evacuation of 50 patients at the hospital. A lawyer representing the families of Newtown school shooting victims says the Supreme Court was right to reject conspiracy theorist Alex Jones's appeal of the over $1 billion defamation judgment against him for calling the massacre a hoax.
WTIC weather.
The rest of this afternoon, a good deal of cloudiness with a high around 60. Tonight, becoming clear with a low of 51. A breezy day tomorrow with sunshine, a few clouds, and a high of 63. Clear to partly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 40. And a breezy day on Thursday with partly sunny skies and a cool afternoon with a high of 56. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
59 and cloudy in Hartford. Reese on the Radio continues next. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News.
The Manchester Road Race is back for the 89th running on Thanksgiving morning. This world-class event that attracts Olympians and families alike is one of the greatest sports traditions in Connecticut. You can register now at manchesterroadrace.com. And please keep in mind that net proceeds from this year's race will go to Connecticut Food Share and the Manchester Area Conference of Churches Charities to provide food to those in need. So if you don't register, the charities lose. Please register today at manchesterroadrace.com.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments, in most cases, have made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime. And it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HoldTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
1 minute. This health fact brought to you by ProHealth Physicians.
One of the best ways to stay healthy during flu season is to get your flu shot. Hi, I'm Kayla Dixon, a primary care nurse practitioner at ProHealth Physicians in Southington. A yearly flu shot is a safe and effective way to prevent the flu. It protects both you and others. We recommend everyone 6 months of age and up to get their flu shot each year, especially those who are 65 or older, pregnant, or with chronic conditions. Getting vaccinated helps stop millions of people from getting sick and thousands from dying. If you do get sick, your symptoms will likely be milder. Plus, there's a lower chance you'll get really ill. Take control of your health. Book your flu shot today. Talk to your doctor if you have any questions.
Connect with the trusted local clinician you just heard from ProHealth. Call 1-855-CTMD-411 to schedule your first visit with them today. Or visit ProHealthMD.com to learn more about their care, expertise, and services.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
Yeah, Barack Hussein Obama. And it's a touchy subject for a lot of people on the left. And if I could give you a little bit of background here, you folks may not be familiar with, I don't want to call it my run-ins with this administration, but my run-ins with supporters of Barack Obama back in 2007, 2008. And back then, in the past, people were 100% bewildered by my point of view. And it wasn't just the usual suspects. It wasn't Black America. It was every America. And I get it. I understand that there was this sense of hope and renewal in his campaign. But I couldn't get there. I just couldn't. I wasn't being, and it wasn't to be contrarian for the sake of. I just couldn't get there. And there was something about it that was really, it was angering me. And it wasn't about him. Even though everyone wanted to make it like, I remember a girl I was dating much later on said to me while he was in office, "You are jealous of him." I mean, she said that to me. I mean, we're involved in a relationship. She was a white woman, of course. But she said, "I know what your problem is. You're jealous of him." And I went, for what? And of course, the obvious thing would be, he's the president of the United States. How could you not be? He's the leader of the free world. And I went, no, like that wasn't even a thought. I was really concerned with who he was, what he believed, and how he viewed America. And every time he opened his mouth, it was just the wrong point of view. It just defied logic. And I had to push back on this guy every chance I got. But people could not stop being mesmerized by him. And they didn't even understand how racist it was. He speaks so well. Yeah? He went to Harvard. Do you think that they let old dirty bastard into Harvard? Is that what you think comes out of a Harvard education? Like, do you think that, like, what do you think comes out of a Harvard-educated African-American? Right? Do you think you're going to get a lot of, yo, my man, it is what it is? Like, do you think that's what you're going to get out of it? So what are you telling me? He speaks so well. and the people who were saying it were of all stripes. And I would look at them and I go, do you not hear yourself? And then they would justify it as saying, well, you know what people think of us or of them or whatever. So? This is not an excuse. And with all of that, here's the thing, and I always laughed about it. I always said that you guys appear to be putting every angst, ailment, anger, whatever it is, you seem to be putting it on his back. While Barack Obama never, ever took up the mantle. Imagine this. Imagine a world telling you that you're a superhero and you never using your powers. And then when asked, why don't you ever use your powers? You're a superhero. He responds by saying, why would I do that? I'm just human. And then everyone somewhat miffed by it. And his response to it is, I never said I had superpowers. But wait a minute, you kind of took everything that we said and you campaigned with what we said about you. Well, yeah, I was trying to get elected. Let me give you an example. Everybody used the mantra that Barack Obama was the first black president and his election would create a post-racial United States. And he would make America livable. There would be restorative justice in his election, that black people would finally be redeemed. And then, couldn't have been a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. He does an interview with Essence magazine, and people saying, well, you've been here for a little while. I don't think that African Americans are really seeing anything from your presidency. And then the guy turning around and saying, well, I'm not the president of Black America. I'm the president of all America. And I heard that and just went, odd. Weren't you the guy who gave a speech in Philadelphia about race? It was the infamous speech. Folks, go back and listen to it. It was the infamous speech where he had to address the words by Jeremiah Wright. You know, the ones where he said, GD America, about how 9/11 were our chickens coming home to roost? How Barack Obama had to explain in the 20 years he had been in service of that man, Jeremiah Wright, he never once heard one of those sermons. You kidding me? The man who you wrote in your own book, The Audacity of Hope, was a father figure. The man who baptized your two daughters and officiated your wedding to Michelle. You never heard him say any of those things in the pews. And then got on stage in Philadelphia and gave that famous speech. And even, oh my goodness, and even threw your grandmother under the bus and called her a bigot too. Yeah, go listen to that speech if you missed it. I did not. A lot of you folks who love the legacy of Barack Obama forget all of those moments. He's also the same guy who said that under the Affordable Care Act, he wouldn't even give his grandmother a hip replacement because she was too old to receive it. Death panel, anyone? I know everything about that man. The only thing I don't know is his Social Security number. I know everything, back and forth. And I know the most important thing to Barack Obama, it's what you say about him. And then he echoes it. You call him a genius. You call him an orator. You call him a politician of the 20th and the 21st century. He's the most important political figure ever. You all say it. You say everything about him is absolutely monumental. There's a big giant rock that's being built in Chicago that the community hates. That's supposed to be his library. That's hundreds of millions of dollars over budget, and not one of you will criticize it, while the taxpayers are made to pay for it. In Chicago. Chicago. This man has built temples to himself, has collected millions of dollars, screamed and hollered climate change is coming to kill us, and then builds a multi-million-dollar home, or buys a multi-million-dollar home off Martha's Vineyard, right off the water, where, ironically, chefs can't swim. I find it incredible that you guys didn't see what I said was happening, that Barack Obama is everywhere today. In fact, he's more, evident as part of our everyday lives today than he ever was when he was president. I mean, he's giving speeches everywhere. He's talking about this administration, how desperate we are as a country. No other president has been this vocal about the administration that succeeded him. But this guy has, and I knew exactly why. And it's because of what Sonny Houston said on The View.
Everyone wants, the subsidies to continue. They want the Affordable Care Act to continue. And the reason I think that Mike Johnson is not holding session is because Donald Trump wants to screw up Obama's legacy. This is all about Donald Trump being the small, petty man that he is, and he doesn't want Obama to have that legacy.
Now, I'd like to ask one simple question. Barack Obama was president for 8 years. The Affordable Care Act, which we're going to get into in a little bit, if that were to be abolished, if it were to no longer exist as a health care program for Americans, Sonny Houston says that would destroy Barack Obama's legacy. It's all you need to know about the existence of one. One piece of legislation. That's it. Barack Obama's legacy, 8 years of it, hinges on one program. I ask, what legacy? What legacy? He doesn't have one. Barack Obama's legacy is a desire. That's it. And they know that Donald Trump doesn't have to do anything. Two things right now. One big, beautiful bill and peace in the Middle East. If he gets both of those, Barack Obama's presidency is nothing more than the black guy who got elected. And that hurts. That really destroys. It makes everything come right around complete circle. It will be Barack Obama's biggest achievement was his skin color. If the Affordable Care Act is gone, that's it. Barack Obama is nothing more than the black guy. And Sonny Houston just said it there. The Affordable Care Act is gone. Legacy over. I don't know what to tell you. Especially now that we know that in 2009, when he got the Nobel Peace Prize, and everybody's saying, wow, he got it in 8 months. It turns out it was just 11 days. Because the Nobel Peace Prize Commission, that's picked, the person who's going to win is picked in January of that year. And they did it on January 30th. Barack Obama went into office on January 20th. Yeah. Legacy Dunzo. That's what they're afraid of. And it exposes the Democrats for exactly who they are. Hollow. Don't leave it to me. I'm just trying to tell the truth. And if you want to counter that, you can. 860-522-WTIC. If you can tell me he's got legacy elsewhere, please, I'd be happy to hear it. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Attention Southern New England HVAC and mechanical contractors. Eagle Rivet is your trusted roofing partner for professional roof penetrations and flashing. We ensure your customers' roofs remain watertight during installations, protecting their warranties. We also offer complimentary roof inspections to identify potential issues before any HVAC work begins. Call Eagle Rivet today at 860-953-1231 or visit us online at eaglerivet.com. That's EAGLERIVET.com. Eagle Rivet is proud to support rebuilding together Hartford.
This is an important public service announcement for our listeners. Reese on the Radio is also a podcast. You can find us anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Catch the full episode, listen by individual hour, or jump straight to the highlights. Just open up your favorite podcast app, search Reese on the Radio, and hit the follow button so you can get every minute of the show your way and on your time. Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, hosted by Dr. Anthony Alessi. Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts in their fields about the latest medical findings and call in with your medical question. Healthy Rounds is dedicated to providing accurate and timely health information and is sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Ratchford Eye Center, St. Francis Hospital, Covaris, and Yukon Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
Experience a night of musical grandeur with the Hartford Symphony Orchestra, October 17th through the 19th at the Bushnell. Enjoy an unforgettable performance under the direction of Vishwa Subbaraman, featuring Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 3, showcasing the brilliant guest pianist Drew Peterson. Feel the stormy intensity as we explore Carl Nielsen's Helios Overture and Sibelius' Symphony No. 2, a powerful exploration of contrast and renewal. Reserve your seats today. Call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Oh, a minute.
Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I want to say that you folks in the chat room, you're so damn cruel. Someone says, you know that Barack Obama doesn't have a Social Security number. That's just cold. That's just messed up. Yeah, I didn't even understand that, Matteo. He's talking about when Barack Obama was on Michelle Obama's podcast. He said having a gay man in your life is really good. If you have a wife and you want to send her out without actually going out with, well, that's horrible. He didn't say all that. I don't even know what, I don't know what that was about. Other than to, yeah, I'm not really keen on this emasculating of men in a compassionate, or using compassion to do so. And what do I mean by that is by saying that in order for you to be a man, you have to do this, that, and a third. And in Barack Obama's case, it's sort of like, you need to have a good gay man in your life. And I'm like, and for what reason is that? I mean, when I was growing up, I thought that, that we were often told we needed to find our feminine side or relate to our feminine side, which I soundly rejected. I'm just like, what? And what does that mean? It's like, well, we have to learn to cry. We know how to cry. I mean, I remember crying quite a bit when I was a kid. I knew how to cry very well. I had emotions. It was just weird. I don't know. It's just something. Again, I never got the Barack Obama thing, folks. I didn't. Maybe it's because I didn't really care about all the rest of that stuff. It's just that really bothered me, that when you forced people to explain the lore of him, it never got beyond the fact that he was black. I'll tell you, let me do this. What really angered me about that whole Barack Obama's black and all that nonsense, what really angered me was, not only was it surface, the hypocrites were coming out in droves. And when they finally admitted they were hypocrites, then I couldn't respect them. Let me give you an example. Anyone remember Herman Cain? I know you all do. Mr. 999, Godfather's Pizza. I loved Herman Cain. He reminded me of my grandfather. Not the way he spoke. My grandfather was very reserved. He had a very, very low, deep voice. But they looked alike, and their mannerisms were the same. But my grandfather was very reserved, Augusta. Very dignified. Scared you to death because you didn't know whether or not he was going to, just jump on you. But he was very reserved. But I loved Herman Cain. And for me, he certified my conservatism as a black man, listening to him talking about his life. And it was when he told this story about his father and his mother and where he grew up. Herman Cain sat in the back of a restaurant in a colored-only designated eating area. He grew up that way. He was the guy who had what many authentic blacks called the black experience. He had lived it firsthand in the segregated Jim Crow South. Not Obama. But they questioned Herman Cain's authenticity right to my face. Right to my face. Why? Because Herman Cain's decisions in life from those experiences made him a conservative. But Barack Obama, who experienced none of it, was considered authentically black by the gatekeepers of authentic blackness. And that was when I was absolutely extremely done. I've never held an ounce of respect for any of them. When they showed their allegiance to Barack Obama and shunned Herman Cain, I was finished. Finished. And there's no going back for me after that. None. I'm a single mother with 5 kids on welfare, food stamps having kid, and turned out a conservative in a sea of children who all went left. I went right. I had the same food stamps that they did. I ate the same grits and collard greens that they did. I lived in the same community of Hollis, Queens as they did. But I had a choice, as did they. They chose left, I chose right. Living in the same house with the same mother who loved voting for Joe Biden. And I still ended up on the opposite side of it. But I did it because I knew I had a choice. The rest of them, they did it for, I don't know, to go along, to get along, to be part of the crew, to not be shunned. I'll never, ever respect anybody who voted for him because he was black. Can't do it. And when they ask me, you didn't vote for Barack Obama? Yeah, for the same reasons that you did. Because he's black? Yes. Let's get to the WTIC newsroom. In for John Silver is Bob Brown. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
59 degrees, cloudy skies in Hartford at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News. Hang in there. We will see the sun soon. That's what AccuWeather is telling us. Speaking in Hartford, before heading down to Washington for the week, Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal says Democrats aren't budging on the fight to preserve health care subsidies as the government shutdown is on the eve of its third week.
People will go without it, and premiums will rise by 75% on average. A family of four earning $130,000 will see their premiums rise per month from $500 to more than $1,200.
Republicans say they have nothing to negotiate until the shutdown is ended. They've been critical of the Democrats' plan, saying it would benefit illegals, something Democrats deny. During a bilateral with the president of Argentina, President Trump says Hamas misrepresented the number of dead hostages they still had in Gaza.
That's a very tough subject. I want them back. That's what they said. I want them back.
When asked what happens if Hamas refuses to disarm, he said, quote, "We would disarm them should it come to that." Trump wouldn't say how, but said it would happen, quote, quickly, defining that as in a reasonable amount of time. Major news organizations, including Fox News, where Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth used to work, are refusing to sign on to new restrictions about what can be reported from the Pentagon. Broadcast networks and print outlets are being forced out of workspace at the Pentagon if they do not agree. CBS News is declining to agree to the restrictions. Eleanor Watson is the network's Pentagon reporter.
By restricting reporters' access, we will now have to find other ways to report, including over the phone. And anyone who's ever done an interview knows that asking questions in person is much better than over the phone. We'll also have to monitor on Twitter, where there are no follow-up questions. Regardless, the Defense Department is a large agency with many people to talk to, and we will continue to report on it as best as we can.
The New York Times, as well as conservative-leaning Newsmax, are among the media outlets refusing to sign the restriction. Southern California being pummeled by a rare October storm. Meteorologist Craig Allen says impacted will be the fire-scarred areas around Los Angeles. He says winter has also made an appearance in the eastern mountains.
There are winter storm warnings in effect for the Sierra and for most of the inland areas. Once you start climbing about 5,000 to 6,000 feet in elevation, it turns to snowfall, and there's the potential for 6 to 12 inches of snow in these areas with hazardous travel.
Well, Lefty, a miniature Scottish Highland bull that escaped 2 weeks ago from his farm in eastern Connecticut town of Franklin, is back home. Owner Kit Sullivan.
I picked him up 2 weeks ago from another farmer that didn't really know what to do with him, and I told him I'd give him a nice home and, you know, let him hang out with my cows. And first day on the farm, he looked at my big bull and kind of was a little bit intimidated and decided to dart through the fence and go for a run through Norwich.
Glad he's back home. And let's check now the forecast.
WTIC weather.
High pressure will slowly move into the area as we head through the nighttime hour, and then they'll remain in control of our weather as we head through the middle and end of the week. The rest of this afternoon looks like a good deal of cloudiness, a high of 60 degrees. Then tonight, we'll see skies beginning to clear with a low of 51. Breezy tomorrow with sunshine, just a few clouds around, high around 63. Clear to partly cloudy as we head into tomorrow night with a low of 40. And a pretty cool day on Thursday with sunshine, some clouds around. It'll also be breezy and a high of 56. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
NLCS resuming with the Dodgers in Milwaukee tonight. The Dodgers up 1-0 in the series. First pitch at 8:08. Reese on the Radio continues up next. 59 degrees, cloudy in Hartford. For more on these and other stories, go to WTIC.com. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News.
Brian Jackman here for QC Kinetics. Listen, if you're dealing with joint pain, whether it's arthritis or injury, and you're sick of it and you're not doing anything about it, well, you might want to just pick up the phone because QC Kinetics might be the answer for you. You can get long-lasting relief without drugs, without surgery. They use regenerative medicine that basically revitalizes your joints using growth factors from your own body. That's right, whether it's back, knees, hips, shoulders, whatever it is, they can get you lasting relief. And get this, when you follow up with them, that consultation is total.
Bob Brown wants me to tell you he's from New Hyde Park.
Bring your MRIs, bring your x-rays, and at the end of that, you've learned something about yourself, and you might find out that QC Kinetic is the solution you've been looking for. Give them a call right now, 860-440-PAIN. Again, it's 860-440-PAIN. They have locations most likely near you, Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury. And like I said, that first consultation, totally free, risk-free. QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN.
One minute.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
I think it's appropriate to give a round of applause to our newsman, Bob Brown. I'm going to do something I normally wouldn't do, okay? I'm going to give praise to a neighborhood that I normally wouldn't, because I would immediately say, that's not New York, that's Long Island. But he's right on the cusp. He's right on the cusp. Give it up for Bob Brown, New Hyde Park's very own. You might as well be Queens. Bob, just tell everybody you're from Queens. New Hyde Park. They won't know. I'll vouch for you. I spent a lot of time in New Hyde Park. It's right near Elmont. That's where my brother lives now, in Elmont. He bought a house out there. Bob Brown. I love it when he's here. Thanks, Bob. Let's get to some headlines. Sad story coming out of California. Former presidential candidate and Utah Senator Mitt Romney's sister-in-law, Carrie Elizabeth Romney, was found dead near a parking garage in Valencia, California. Authorities responded to a call on Friday night to reports of a dead woman near a parking garage. The woman, later identified as the former senator's sister-in-law, either jumped or fell off a 5-story structure near Valencia Town Center Mall. And she was 64 years old. I haven't heard anything new yet, but I will check on it on any other stories. This is another story that will be a part of Wacky Whitey. We'll get to that. You may know that Alec Baldwin and his brother Stephen, they crashed their SUV into a tree in East Hampton, speaking of Long Island, Bob, on Monday. It's unclear of who was driving. We do know now it was Alec Baldwin who was crashing, who crashed the car. And TMZ has obtained photos of the crash. We now have video of that, which we will show. In fact, I can show it in a minute. In fact, let me see if I do have it here. Here is Alec Baldwin talking about the crash and I guess the events as it took place. It turns out that Alec Baldwin is lying about the crash.
But this morning I was in this car accident. Guy cut me off in a truck, big garbage truck. I mean, a garbage truck the size of a whale. I've never seen a garbage truck. It must have been something commercial for like taking away material from construction or something. It was the biggest garbage truck I've ever seen. Anyway, I won't go into the details now and bore you, but to avoid hitting him, I hit a tree. I hit a big fat tree and crushed my car.
Yeah, so I'll explain that in Wacky Whitey today, because it isn't, the Wacky Whitey story isn't about that. You're going to have to pay very close attention to your ears on this one. I'll explain it to you in a little bit. Stand by for that. Also, Zohran Mamdani appears to be in a little bit of trouble. His campaign quietly took nearly $13,000 in potentially illegal foreign donations, including one from his mother-in-law in Dubai, the New York Post has learned. At least 170 of the nearly 54,000 contributions to the leading Democrat candidate's campaign have come from donors with addresses outside of the United States. An examination of the New York City Campaign Finance Board records found that only U.S. citizens are supposed to and permitted to legally and legal residents are allowed to contribute to political campaigns and political action committees under federal, state, and city law. And the candidates are expected to return any illegal donations. Violators who knowingly accept foreign donations could face hefty fines and imprisonment. So, yeah, it appears that he may have done that, so he may have to give the money back. Why would, I don't know. I don't even understand why they would do that. Now, for the stupidest thing I read today.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Letitia James, or better yet, the New York Times. You might not know this, but the New York Times is a leftist publication who often runs interference for Democrat operatives, no matter where they are. And of course, if they're in opposition of Donald Trump, they go double time. In this case, they may have actually sealed her fate. Letitia James, that is. So according to a full investigation done by the New York Times that had 3 writers on it, one of the writers was Jonah Bromwich, Kate Kelly, and Stephanos Chen. The 3 reporters all read the indictment and all somehow, in some case, failed to mention in their article paragraph 9 in the indictment. What's in paragraph 9? Letitia James told the Universal Property Insurance the Norfolk property was owner-occupied for non-seasonal use. But that's not the only infraction. There's much, much more. She told OVM Financial, which is a bank, that it was a second home so she can get a 3% interest instead of the 3.815. She told the insurance company that it was owner-occupied so she can get lower premiums. And she told the IRS that it was a rental property and had 0 personal use days. In essence, she would never be there, to claim the maximum tax deduction. And she also told New York State it was an investment property. Now, they all reported this, or failed to report this in the story, all of paragraph 9. But here's what they did right. And here's where the problem is. The New York Times says their key evidence, remember, they omitted the earlier stuff, but anybody would have caught it. The key evidence was Nakia Thompson. That, I believe, is a relative of Letitia James. She gave grand jury testimony that she lived in the home rent-free and did not pay rent. That's in the indictment. But in the indictment, in paragraph 10, it says that Letitia James filed a Schedule E tax form reporting thousands of dollars of rent received. Both cannot be true. Why is this the perfect trap? It's simple. If Thomas paid no rent, James committed tax fraud. That means he false rent received and deductions. James committed additional tax fraud with 0 personal day use while visiting regularly. And James committed mortgage fraud because she controlled the occupancy and violated the second home rider. Even if the Times is wrong and Thompson did pay rent, that individual, who, by the way, is already a felon, has lied to the grand jury. Yeah, it gets worse. The Times tried to frame it as a straightforward factual dispute, needing more evidence. But this isn't a he said, she said. It's a document contradiction. And the grand jury sinks her. The whole thing is done because, again, you're now going to have to question, why did you tell the grand jury, Thompson that is, that you were paying no rent? Why did you say that? And if you didn't pay any rent, why is Letitia James saying that she did? And I would subpoena any records that say she did receive any rent. She'd have to, right? Because that would have to be a part of her tax returns. She's claiming that she did receive rent, while the actual tenant said she paid none. So I think this is going to be between the two of them, their own undoing. And I think they're just horrible liars, but that's just me. That's just me. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to the phones. Jim is in Wellington. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. You had mentioned previous to a couple of your breaks about the legacy of Obama.
Yeah.
You didn't believe he had a legacy.
Yeah, I don't believe if the legacy was the Affordable Care Act, and that could very well be overturned, much like Roe v. Wade, if we were to get another case in the Supreme Court, and it would be over because John Roberts, in essence, helped that thing get through by saying it was a tax and the government had a right to tax. So if that's over, what else do you have? And everyone says that is his signature legislation. And I would quote Charles Krauthammer here and says that the election of Donald Trump means that Obama's legacy was written in sand.
Yeah, well, Obama's legacy, in my eyes, is the destabilization of America because of his foreign policy concerning the Middle East. And you would mention specifically Iran, and the fact that the president of the United States helped to fund terrorism that killed all kinds of people.
Exactly.
Created all kinds of new terrorist organizations that then killed more people.
Yeah, paying them back for paying. That was the interesting part. Dropping off a pallet of cash after all of the wrongdoing of the mullahs, after all of the wrongdoing of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, and then saying that and trying to explain to the American people that this was money that we unjustly seized and we're just paying it back, knowing that they were going to use that money.
And let me add something else to that one point. Obama went across Europe and the Middle East, destabilizing the achievements of this country.
That's right. The apology tour.
Apologize. It's funny how he apologized for numerous things about the sins of America, and never once mentioned what this country did to rebuild Europe and to protect Europe and to protect Israel, just a bunch of people.
Do you remember his famous line, Jeff? I mean, Jim, do you remember his famous line? Oftentimes America has acted arrogantly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's all well and good, but here's where I'm going. And this is the brilliance of Donald Trump. Obama spoke to all the same people, mostly the same people, but leaders from the same countries anyway.
Sure.
And said all those things. And Trump has done the same exact thing with maybe new leaders, but the same countries, basically, and completely turned around. Trump has exposed the UN for what it is concerning Israel in the Middle East. He's exposed the UN and the policies of Obama concerning what the money that the UN spent for Hamas, or Hamas just grabbed it. And somehow Trump has been able to get both Arabs and Israel to agree to disagree, but to also come together for the better good of the area.
Right.
And the last thing I'll say is the only thing Obama did for the Middle East and for Europe, but for the Middle East specifically, was guarantee there'd be chaos and terrorism. And Trump turned that thing on a dime.
Yep.
And you started your show, and I'll end with this, and thanks for the time. You started your show with where does Trump stand in a pantheon of leaders?
Sure.
Right now, in my lifetime, the best president I've ever looked at or considered, and in the pantheon of leaders, he's right up there.
He's neck and neck, my friend. He's neck and neck with some of the greats. I'm not going to lie. And I think I'll say this so much. It's not just, and it's interesting because we're talking about Barack Obama versus a Donald Trump. And I will say this, is that Barack Obama as a legacy candidate in the sense of he was transformative, but again, for the most ridiculous of reasons, his skin color. Donald Trump being what, many people will call the traditional white man as being president, he has been absolutely culture changing and transformative in foreign policy and domestic policy.
Well, let me close with this. If you can give me another 30 seconds, let me close with this. If you took a Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Biden, and Trump, and then wrote down what their major accomplishments were, I could say that even though I disagree with Mr. Clinton, he left office, the country was in the black. He was forced to move to the middle. We know what happened when he did that with the Contract of America, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you've got Trump and the other two. At the end of the day, Obama's got absolutely nothing that he can hang his hat on.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And we don't even have to talk about Joe Biden. Easily, in my view, the worst president in the history of my life.
Yeah,
And
I think in
top
order to even be considered, you'd at least have to be present. And now we know he wasn't.
Well,
so you know,
it might have been better. He might have been better if he embraced the fact. I said on your show a long time ago when he was hobbling around, maybe he should get himself a campaign cane and he should put notches in it or whatever and embrace your frailty.
Yeah, exactly. Because then he'd at least get some sympathy. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you.
All right.
America does have sins that have not been acknowledged. I mean, I can go to plenty of countries that have sins that have never been acknowledged. And let me address what Bob J just said in the chat room. And this is exactly the type of nonsense that I'll put this way: unserious people make this argument. Very unserious. It is commonplace to put down America. It has been drilled into the minds of leftists over and over again, and they think it is something that they believe. They have been told so many times the opinions that they have came naturally. They did not. They did not come naturally. They are indoctrinated ideas. That's all. That's all it is. To ignore travesties across the globe and the atrocities that have happened across the globe. Compare America to the Congo today. Compare America to Nigeria from the perspective of Christians today. That mantra of America having sins it must atone for is ignorant. And it is embedded in the minds of people who are easily influenced. Because I would simply say to anyone about the sins, they be so atrocious. Name a place without sin. It's like what Jesus said. Let he without sin cast the first stone. Would you say that Ukraine is without sin? Would you say Russia? How about China? Would you say that Mao Zedong and the Color Revolution, would you say that those folks are without sin with the millions who were killed? Millions. Would you say Stalin was a stellar human being? How about Lenin? Would you say that the countries that they ruled over, that, you know, they have atoned for their sins? I mean, if we were really to measure up, and again, I would always say, I look at this in a very, very simple way, and it's easy to discern. With all of the countries in the world, name the one everyone's trying to get to. And in Bob J's view, they're all trying to get to the place where sins have never been accounted for. They all wish to come to the place that is not atoned. Quite interesting. And when asked why do they come here, it's for things like opportunity, religious freedom, freedom of expression. Things that no one, and anyone like Bob J, will never hold other countries accountable for. I laugh as I watch black people on white folks' channels scream about the evil white man and never get lynched. I want to say it again. I find it interesting that black folks on white people's networks scream about the evil white man and his sins and never leave the studio in cuffs and strung up on a tree. This white, racist, oppressive country. How they scream and holler in the middle of the street when they see a white person, call them white devils, attack them because they didn't say hello or because they have an argument with them. And never once has the Klan rode in burning crosses in front of their homes. How they have this miraculous freedom to malign and excoriate the opposite race without any accountability. This racist, bigoted country. Astonishing. And yet, I'm supposed to be told that it's much tougher for black and brown people today than it ever was during the Jim Crow South, than it was in the 1920s. I'm sorry, but I'm not falling for that. But again, like I said, these aren't original ideas. None of them are. They didn't come to this on their own. They couldn't, because if they thought critically, they'd never believe any of it. But they can't think critically. This is what they have to stand on. This is what they have to believe in. Because if they were to stray, the real lynching will begin from the people they used to agree with. Don't ask me. I wouldn't know. I just get it every day. I know exactly what it's like to be theoretically lynched by people who I refuse to agree with on a daily basis. When you get around your posse and get around your crowd, you are adored. You are patted on your butt and told, good boy. Me, on the other hand, I'm the sin that keeps on giving. I'm the sellout Uncle Tom. Please spare me. At least I've decided that I'm going to think for myself. Have a good one. We'll see you in a minute. More news, more views when we return, plus your phone calls. It's Reese On The Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
You'll get more than you expect with McValue at McDonald's. So when you've spent too much on a night out, get deals on the after party. When you've got date night, get deals on favorites that'll make you their favorite. And when you've got family for the weekend, we've got breakfast.
It only takes $5 to fire up the flavor with the hot and spicy McChicken and the $5 meal deal. Or $6 to savor a McDouble in the $6 meal deal. Price and participation may vary. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only, exclusions apply.
And now, a WTIC news update.
58 degrees, cloudy skies in Hartford at 3:30. Good afternoon. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News. We will see the sun tomorrow, the forecast coming up. We have a crash on I-91. This is southbound exit 32A, I-84 westbound ramp. The right lane remains closed there, so beware of that. On day 14 of the government shutdown, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries reiterates his party's message. Republicans are responsible for the shutdown. President Trump says the U.S. has struck another small boat accused of carrying drugs in the waters off Venezuela. Trump says in a social media post 6 people aboard the vessel were killed and no U.S. forces were hurt. A lawyer representing families of Newtown school shooting victims say the Supreme Court was right to reject conspiracy theorist Alex Jones's appeal of the $1.4 billion defamation judgment against him for calling the massacre a hoax. Lawyer Christopher Mattei says the InfoWars host's appeal was a desperate attempt to avoid accountability for the harm that he caused. Walmart is teaming up with ChatGPT, which is quickly becoming the wave of the future.
WTIC weather.
Plenty of clouds around the rest of this afternoon with a high near 60, then for tonight becoming clear and a low 51. Tomorrow, partly sunny, a breezy afternoon and a high of 63, and a mainly clear sky as we head into tomorrow night, the low of 40, and a cool day on Thursday with sunshine, a few clouds, and a breezy afternoon and a high only of 56. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Reese on the Radio continues next. 58 degrees, cloudy in Hartford. For more on these and other stories, go to WTIC.com. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition, available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
We were using a managed service provider, MSP.
That's Pete Sweeney, Director of Operations at United Tool and Die Company in West Hartford. His computer services MSP became so costly, there was nothing left for needed system upgrades. Pete took action. He called Tab Computer Systems.
When we looked at Tab and found out that they were an ASP, an actual service provider, and what they included in their monthly cost per user, the services that they offered were right where we needed it to be.
Now Pete gets the services system needs, and he can make those needed upgrades.
They provide us with email and web defense, endpoint protection, server and workstation monitoring, backup checks, everything that we were getting with our other provider, but at a much lower cost.
Call Tab, an ASP, actual service provider. No inflated long-term contracts. 1-888-TAB-4-HELP. 1-888-TAB-4-HELP. Or visit tabinc.com. Technologies advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Another summer over, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower. Your workouts aren't as productive. Perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time. Maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Northeast Men's Health and get treated for your low T, Because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improve sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T tests and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 369-369 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 369-369. That's HIM to 369-369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the
20 seconds
bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Hi, this is WTIC News Talk 1080 Operations Manager Steve Salhaney. Happy birthday, WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, man, I can't wait to get into town to hang out with Steve. Reese on the Radio, we're back. Wacky Whitey coming up very soon, the Alec Baldwin edition. It sort of has to do with the car crash, but it's something that you are going to love, and it's an internet craze, a social media craze that you are going to respond to when you see it. So stand by for that. It is hilarious and in some ways embarrassing, if I say so myself. Stand by for that. We're going to have a lot of fun that we're going to have with that as well. I wanted to talk about this because as it relates to the murder of Mimi Torres, the 12-year-old who was found in a container in the back of an abandoned home in New Britain. There has been a lot of criticism of Mayor Erin Stewart. And the reason why people have been criticizing her is for having this sort of deer in the headlights behavior at the press conference yesterday and seeming not to know how to react to this situation. And I know I can see it that she's responding to it poorly. And I know it is out of frustration and she wants another crack at it. This sounds crazy. It's like, Reese, how do you know that? Trust me, I know. When the criticism weighs heavy and you've done nothing wrong, you weather that. They're being ridiculous. I know what I did was right. I handled it correctly. I can't please everyone. And you stay focused. But that's not happening here. That's not happening here. So I want to respond. I want to show you what I mean by that, but a tweet that she put out, and an X post that she put out, as responding to someone who had gone after her about not questioning or at least saying that she was having issues with DCF, or if she took issue with them at all. She responded by saying this. Are you kidding me? No question mark. Are you kidding me? This was not my place to give an opinion on the failures of DCF. As a mayor, I don't control them. If the press wants to ask me about that separately or privately, then I can, and I'll give my opinion. Discussing a heavy and disgusting case about the abuse and neglect and ultimate murder of a 12-year-old girl is not the time to add my opinion. Get out of here. Okay. I am absolutely for reasonable frustration with critics. This is not how you do it. It isn't. The DCF question is a legitimate one. And the opinion is not what anyone needs. It's not an opinion about DCF. It's a response to questions about DCF. Going above and beyond to state why you said nothing about it almost gives leverage to the person questioning you. So I'm going to do the thing that I would have done. Never had political office, never did it, just a radio host. I gave some advice unsolicited yesterday. Let me do it again. This is how you respond to queries about DCF and if they are indeed responsible. If you're going to respond to a post, to an individual, the two things you never ever start with or end with are the words, "Are you kidding me?" Because therefore you're saying any queries are unreasonable. They may be, but never let that show. You are responding to them because their questions are legitimate, no matter how ridiculous they are. From the ridiculous to the smart, all queries to you, the leader, are to be dealt with respect, not dismissiveness. You can't dismiss it. Even if you think that it is, you can't dismiss it. And if you think this in some way is sort of making you hard or edgy, you know what, a type of person that pushes back, this is not your enemy. This is someone asking you a legitimate question about DCF. Do you think, or were there any failures with DCF? Do you think you should have been harsher on DCF? Here's how you respond. Without knowing all the facts, which are coming, it is difficult to say what responsibility DCF had. But if indeed there were problems that DCF ignored, we must hold them to account and get to the bottom of that and find out where those mistakes were made. Folks, off the top of my head, you tell me if that's a legitimate response to a person. I don't have to say, get out of here. We are turning over. In essence, I am saying to you, I'm outraged by what happened to this 12-year-old girl. It is evident that she didn't have her own parents, her own aunt, and her own mother's boyfriend caring about this child's best interest. But if there was anybody else who could have come forward, or anybody else who knew about this girl missing from school, or if there had been any reports about abuse at home that DCF was concerned about and were alerted to, if they drop the ball on this, they will be held to account, but only after we get the evidence. That's what you tell them. You are stern in getting the information and letting them know I am on top of it, and when we find out who's responsible, we are going to hold them accountable. But going after the people asking questions who are concerned, as if this suggests they have no right to be, or they should get out of here for even suggesting to you something, it's not the way to go. At all. You've got to be, you just have to be consistent with who you are as far as your character is concerned. That you are outraged by this and you want to get to the bottom of it. Having these cheesy little back and forth, stupid rivalries or, back and forths with some person you disagree with or you think is sort of out of whack. No. consummate professional. That's your job. You're running for governor. You're running for governor. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to come back to bite her. But the governor, I mean, if you really think about it, Lamont has said nothing. And you think about that. You want to take his place. This is an opportunity. I mean, if we're being real here, and I'll play makeshift campaign director. Okay? I'll play makeshift campaign director for Aaron Stewart. If I'm your campaign director, this is what I would be telling you. Hey, you know, Lamont hasn't said anything about Mimi's death. Hasn't said anything about her murder. I got to be honest with you. If I'm you and I'm running to take his job, I've got to show the leadership that he lacks. Let's put out a statement about this. And let's ask that the governor bring some attention to this because, again, him sitting in that office needs his attention and his lack thereof. We got to put him on the spot. And we got to let everybody know in Connecticut that the reason why you are better fit for this job than he is. That's what I would say. Now, I'm saying that on the radio. You have no idea what I would tell her in private. It would be much more harsh. But I would be telling her right off the bat that this is the opportunity where you show leadership when Lamont has not. A young girl was starved, dragged, left in the back of an abandoned home. She had gone missing since if they're right, maybe had been dead since last fall. This could very well be a national story. You've got to get in front of it. And the governor has not. So forget about somebody asking you a question that you're not comfortable with or that angers you. That's not leadership. That's emotion. Discussing a heavy and disgusting case about the abuse and neglect and ultimate murder of a 12-year-old child is not the time to add my opinion. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let me help you. Here's an opinion that you can steal. It is, in my opinion, that we haven't been doing enough to protect at-risk children. We have seen it countless times with the suicide of an 11-year-old girl, a young toddler falling out of a building, abuses taking place inside of our schools where young black girls were harassed by young white students and spat on. And no one has stepped up to protect those children. In my opinion, something must be done. And as your governor, I will. Okay? Again, if I may, off the top of the dome, as they say in the hip-hop world. Now, why is it so easy for me? Why is it so easy for me and not for many? Because they don't feel the way that I do about this subject. I don't need to know Mimi. I've raised kids. I don't need to be even related to that child to know that the death of a 12-year-old left in that place, in that way, who clearly must have been afraid, who must have been fearful every day of her life, knowing that no one was going to save her, and then to die in that fashion. Emotions should be bubbling up in you that you can respond in a way that tells everybody, or at least to convey to everyone what you know everyone is feeling, if they're really thinking about the well-being of that 12-year-old girl who died in such a way. That the people who were, in essence, supposed to just protect her did not. Abused her. Did some of the most egregious things to her, never even caring. I mean, looking at the size of that child, looking at her face, and you've all seen the picture, knowing that somebody, that the emotion that comes out of that, or in this case, a response, should come naturally. If you have a heart, if you're a human being, that's why it's not hard for me to come up with something to say that shows and exudes leadership. Especially when you know the people who should be saying something are saying nothing. And you're trying to make a name for yourself, and you are running for the most important office in the state. You have got to show leadership, Aaron Stewart. Again, I have not backed anybody here. But this, unacceptable. Work on it. People are already saying that you're not ready for prime time. This isn't helping you. And it is echoing true with statements like this. You have an invitation to come on the program if you'd like to respond to it, maybe clean it up a little bit. But if I were you, I'd do something. There's an opportunity here. You should take full advantage of it. We'll come back. More news, more views, and a sad story about an R&B singer. If you have heard, we're going to pay him some respect when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Why is NJM Insurance silent in an industry full of catchy jingles? And how do they do what's right when things go wrong? Tune in to Baffling Mysteries to find out.
This fictional podcast is brought to you by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Call the B for all of your HVAC, plumbing, and drains needs. Serving our Connecticut neighbors with fast and reliable service you can trust. Visit calltheb.com. That's calltheletter.com to check out our latest deals. And beeline to Speedy Repairs today. Call the B. We'll be there and we'll be fair.
Experience a night of musical grandeur with the Hartford Symphony Orchestra, October 17th through the 19th at the Bushnell. Enjoy an unforgettable performance under the direction of Vishwa Subbaraman, featuring Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 3, showcasing the brilliant guest pianist Drew Peterson. Feel the stormy intensity as we explore Carl Nielsen's Helios Overture and Sibelius' Symphony No. 2, a powerful exploration of contrast and renewal. Reserve your seats today. Call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000.
You're right about that, Aaron. 100% you're right about that.
203-896-4000.
We all hear the IRS.
Thanks, sir.
They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com. Call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Before we pay some homage, let me get to the phone real quick. Chris is in Watertown. How are you, sir?
Hey, good, Reese. Thanks for taking the call. You said pretty much most of what I would have said. We all know DCF is a very big problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with her... With this being in her city now, and she's the mayor of New Britain, that she should feel rage. That's what she should feel about it.
Right.
And so I think we're we might disagree just slightly, is I think that this is what costs her any traction in a nomination to
You think so?
Even the Republican nominee at this. Yes, I do. Because there's a lot of us out there that have a lot of strong feelings about DCF, and whether we're conservatives or whatever you want to label us.
No. I'll put it to you this way, Chris, if I may, real quick, and I'll tell you why I agree with you in the sense of, like, no one ever knows what's that one thing that's the issue that will tank a campaign. And in Connecticut, I've noticed this for the last 3 years now, that the sort of protection of children has waned in ways I've never seen in our society. And it is very, very prominent in Connecticut in politics. It's like the only thing they seem to be fighting for is getting these atrocious books in school, but yet there's the ignoring of things like education or the well-being of children. That stuff is just ignored. It gets no traction, which baffles me.
Basic things that we should be doing as a state.
Yeah.
Basic education and basic care and protection of them as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe, I mean, you could be right. This could be that issue where, and again, I watched that press conference, and, it's not a one-off. I'm looking at the press conference, and there's just no leadership. We see the police officers talking. We see other people talking, like different people involved as far as law enforcement. And she's there, and she's got her hands folded and seems out of place. It's not natural. It's weird.
She has good script and she has good social media, but my concern is that when it comes to making a hard decision, and having to do it in I don't want to say in a split second, but having to do it with very little time to prepare.
Yeah,
she's not going to be able to do it.
It doesn't come off natural.
No.
Yeah.
It comes off as a politician, not as a person, and that's why you can say it so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Good point. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you holding for me, man.
It.
You got it.
You bet.
I want to pay some respects to a person who I can honestly admit I was jealous of. And I think a lot of men were a little jealous of this guy. And when I say they were a little jealous of him, because I don't know a woman who didn't swoon over him and that music video, How Does It Feel? R&B singer D'Angelo has passed away at the age of 51. I guess he was struggling privately, very privately. I did not know. He was suffering from pancreatic cancer, and he passed away today at the age of 51. But if you remember him, you remember every girl who lost it behind that How Does It Feel music video, where it's just, him topless with no shirt on and it's a little below the waist, and he's just spinning around. It was the most simple music video I've ever seen in my entire life, but it was probably the most watched music video on any video music channel known to man. D'Angelo, gone at 51. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS traffic center. I know you remember that, man. There it is.
Yeah, he was smooth, man.
Damn, he was smooth. He was the closest thing to Prince that we had. Like the second coming.
Voice.
Yeah. There you go. That's Roland's song right there.
Great song, Roland. Good choice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace, D'Angelo.
Yeah, that's pancreatic cancer. You don't want to get cancer, but that's the one you don't want for sure. It's so sad. 51 years old.
Yeah.
D'Angelo, great R&B singer.
Yeah.
Reese, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report is being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. Southbound 91 delays from 36 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. You'll slow again as you move down by exit 19 in Meriden. Northbound 91's a little slow, 21 to 22 in Cromwell. On the Route 9 interchange, westbound 84 is tight, Bulkley Bridge. The 47, 84 eastbound, you've got delays from exit 44 into the tunnel. 291 eastbound is slowing as you move from I-91 over to the Bissell. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're westbound 84, you're looking at delays 37. Finneman Road in Farmington up to 33, and the 72 interchange. Westbound 84 is tied up from 25A up to the Mixed Master in Waterbury. Northbound Parkway slowing 46 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 south on a little delay. 46 down to exit 44. Traffic got you down. Turn that frown upside down. At Columbia Implant Center in Manchester, they offer fast, efficient dental implant procedures completed in a single visit, open 7 days a week for your convenience. Don't wait. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
58 degrees, cloudy skies in Hartford at 4 o'clock. Good afternoon, I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News. Skies should begin to clear out tonight with the sun returning tomorrow. After a court appearance, 3 people remain held in the case of Jacqueline Torres. She's the Farmington 12-year-old whose remains were discovered in New Britain last week. WTIC's Dave Mager reports.
Emotional family members packed the Torrington courtroom. A judge kept bond at $5 million for the girl's mother, Carla, and Carla's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita. They're both charged with murder. Police believe Nanita disposed of Jacqueline's remains in a New Britain backyard last week, about a year after she was killed. Nanita's mother tells CT Insider he and Carla have 3 other young children, including a baby. DCF says they're in state custody. Carla's sister, also named Jacqueline, is held on $1 million bond, charged with child cruelty. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Turning to Washington, Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal says Democrats are not backing down on their demand to ensure health care subsidies, as Republicans say they won't negotiate until the government is reopened.
Once again, President Trump placed blame on the Democrats.
This was a position that's being forced upon us by Democrats.
And he said the shutdown is giving his administration an opportunity.
We're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we were opposed to.
Programs he says will never come back.
So we're being able to do things that we were unable to do before.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
The union supporting air traffic controllers handing out leaflets about the shutdown at some airports around the nation, including Ronald Reagan National, warning staffing and safety is at risk.
National Air Traffic Controllers Association President Nick Daniels warns that the shutdown is putting travelers in jeopardy, with workers worried about paying bills.
And this introduces a new risk to aviation.
This air traffic controller at New York's LaGuardia says
it's more of a stress on the individual because the job's stressful enough as it is.
The union is calling on lawmakers to get workers paid. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Tragedy on a Georgia highway.
8 people, all in the same vehicle and from the same family, died in a fiery accident on Interstate 85 about an hour northeast of Atlanta. Police say 3 adults and 5 children were killed in the multi-vehicle accident caused by a tractor-trailer truck that plowed into slowed traffic.
Jim Crisula reporting one of the vehicles in the accident was a van from an animal shelter group in Atlanta. It was transporting nearly 40 cats to a shelter in Vermont. Several of the animals escaped their cages in the wreck and are now missing. In a speech in Philadelphia, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell pointing to a significant slowdown in hiring in the U.S. as a worry for the Fed. It means there might be 2 interest rate cuts later this year. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady.
Rate cuts are not a guarantee. They're going to look at the data as it comes in, when it comes in, if it comes in. The labor market is still a risk, and that risk is rising.
In sports, NLCS resumes at the Dodgers in Milwaukee. Dodgers up 1-0. First pitch tonight at 8:08. ALCS resumes tomorrow in Seattle. Mariners up on the Toronto Blue Jays 2-0. NHL action tonight. Rangers hosting the Oilers at the Garden. On Wall Street at the Bell, the Dow is up 202 points. 58 degrees, mostly cloudy in Hartford. For more on these and other stories, go to WTIC.com. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News.
Wesley Financial, not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy.
and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
It's Reese on the Radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I know that we normally do between rounds. I'm just going to wait until the next break. Because this was something that was hanging heavy on my head roughly about 10 o'clock last night. And I was going through this. And today, I'm just going through my phone during the break, just saying, hey, if there's any breaking news going out there. And last night, the first time I was ticked off, and I said, you know what? Maybe I'll say something about this tomorrow. But then I said, no, because then it would be like piling on, and I would be mean. Let me just tell you what happened last night. So last night, I'm reading the story about Mimi and her passing, and then they had finally found the boyfriend, and he was in custody, and they were finally showing the first pictures of him and all this stuff. And then a report was going on, was talking about the grandparents. And I think the grandfather, who they had spoken to, could only speak Spanish, and he was crying as he was saying, my baby, my granddaughter, whatever the case was. So, again, I was immediately just going, you know what I was going to say. A lot of you are saying the same thing. I'm not going to do that here. So then I go on my Facebook page, just people are making comments, so I'm just looking at them, see if there's anything relevant, maybe somebody's saying something. And I get to WFSB's page, and they're showing the mother, Jacqueline, as she enters the courtroom. And this is the WFSB headline. Watch the unedited court video of 3 people facing a judge for the first time on the case of the murdered 12-year-old girl on WFSB. But the top of that page, it says this. Jacqueline's, the mother, Jacqueline's family packed the courtroom on Tuesday. I don't know if this courtroom is big or it's small, but the family packed the courtroom. I've got one question. Did any of them? How many family members are we talking about? No one noticed? It's last fall. That's a year ago. Nobody noticed? That's all I'm asking. It bears questions. Nobody? I can't be the only one who finds that weird. Apparently, these people live in the community. They know them. They knew of this girl. They all showed up. I don't know if it's there to support to her or to admonish Jacqueline, but they're all there. Hello, media. What an opportunity, huh? Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. If you're southbound 91, look for delays in Windsor from exit 36 down to 32 IMB. Another slowdown down by exit 28, Hartford Wethersfield line. Look out for a crash now in Cromwell 91 northbound between exit 21 and 22. The left lane shut down. Stay right. Looks like delays are pushing back toward exit 20 Country Club Road. If you're westbound 84, a little slow in the tunnel out to 47 Sigourney 84 eastbound. You got some tight traffic from exit 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. If you are traveling 84 westbound In Farmington, you got delays now from exit 37 Finneman Road out to 33, the 72 interchange in Plainville. Traveling into Waterbury, westbound 84 tied up 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster, 84 eastbound in Cheshire slowing, approaching the 691 interchange. Northbound on the Parkway, you've got delays 46 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Rest of this afternoon, plenty of clouds and a high of 60, becoming clear tonight with a low of 51. Another breezy day tomorrow with sun and a few clouds with a high of 63. Mainly clear tomorrow night, low of 40, and then partly sunny and breezy Thursday, a bit cooler and a high of 56. Right now it's 56 in Vernon, 60 in Marlborough, and 59 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Picture this. You're eating good food, enjoying a cocktail, and losing weight. That's Awaken 180, a program that fits into your lifestyle with coaches who support you every step of the way. Visit awaken180weightloss.com to kickstart your transformation.
Slow? Clogged? Backed up? Don't worry. ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. License number HIC 628926, P10277688, S10413487, D10401465, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
You're listening to Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we're back. Let's do the thing now. And congratulations goes to Noreen A. of Broadbrook, Connecticut. She is the recipient of today's dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. Don't forget, you can also help out Connecticut Food Share by purchasing a Becca, which is a bacon, egg, and cheese, chipotle, mayo, and avocado sandwich on a bagel. 50 cents. Every one you buy, the Becca that is, 50 cents will go to the Connecticut Food Share. So when you go down there, go pick up a Becca. It's that time, and we'll get to the phone calls in a second. So you all know the story. Alec Baldwin was driving in his wife's car. I think it was a Land Rover or a Range Rover. I can't tell which one. It's a nice vehicle. Was driving in a Land Rover, and they crashed into a tree. And Alec Baldwin explains that the truck, the garbage truck, ran him off the road. I guess what he didn't know was that the garbage truck actually had a dash cam on the front of the truck and caught the entire incident. And it appears that the garbage truck made a legal right turn when he had the right of way, was driving down the road and was going, it was a 1-lane road and a 2-lane highway. And after making the right turn, the garbage truck was doing what it normally does, going into the service lane or the parking lane to pick up its first round on the street of garbage cans. And it appears Alec Baldwin may have been a little too close and tried to go around the garbage truck, but on the sidewalk side. Here's how Alec Baldwin described the incident, even while the video was playing, showing that it was him in the wrong.
But this morning I was in this car accident. Guy cut me off in a truck, big garbage truck. I mean, a garbage truck the size of a whale. I've never seen a garbage truck. It must have been something commercial for like taking away material from construction or something. It was the biggest garbage truck I've ever seen. Anyway, I won't go into the details now and bore you, but to avoid hitting him, I hit a tree. I hit a big fat tree and crushed my car, my wife's car. I crushed my wife's car. I feel bad about that, but it's all fine, and I'm fine, and my brother's fine. And
Yeah. So he's fine, his brother's fine, but he says that the truck cut him off. But that is not the reason why Alec Baldwin is making it into today's version of Wacky Whitey. Yeah, you know what it is. Wacky Whitey, Wacky Whitey, Wacky Whitey, Wacky Whitey. Yeah, you know what it is. Wacky Whitey, Wacky Whitey, Wacky Whitey, Wacky Whitey. No, the reason why Alec Baldwin gets the Wacky Whitey Award today is because as he was going on to thank the police officers who helped him after the argument, or after the accident, I should say, not argument, something happens in the background in the video. Let's see if you catch it.
Officer Gherkin is his name, Gerken. Lovely guy. And there was another gentleman there, I didn't get his name, but Officer Gherkin from the East Hampton Police Department. As nice as can be and as pleasant as can be about the whole thing. And
Did you catch it, Roland?
He is fired.
Smoke alarm. His smoke alarm went off. Which has got to be the most ghetto thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But for those of you who don't know, there was a theme. There was a theme online that shows that they consider the most ghetto thing for you to do is have a beeping smoke alarm in or smoke detector in your home. Alec Baldwin is not someone that you would deem to be that ghetto. But sure enough, and again, my wife, who I played that for earlier, just throws her head back and just goes, no, he didn't. Oh, yes, he did.
Officer Gherkin is his name, Gerken. Lovely guy. And there was another gentleman there, I didn't get his name, but Officer Gherkin from the East Hampton Police Department. As nice as can be and as pleasant as can be about the whole thing. And
I just can't. I'm sorry, but all I was doing, it came out of nowhere. I was just watching the video and it popped up out of nowhere and I went, oh, that's horrible. That's just horrible. My wife is upset in the way that a wife can be and would be upset. And that is, the first thing she said was, why is it that people do not understand how dangerous that is? I, of course, wanted nothing to do with that discussion. It was just, how do you live in a house? Alec Baldwin, and this is the part that comes for me personally, okay? Knowing Alec Baldwin, folks, you all have sort of, like, vicariously through the media have had a run-in with Alec Baldwin. It's like you know him, right? Think about this, okay? Think about this reasonably. Alec Baldwin appears to be angered by the simplest slight. He seems to be constantly annoyed or aggravated. Are you telling me that beeping sound going off at the same time over and over again has never, ever irked him to the point where he changed those batteries? that it was not an annoyance to him, that listening to that, he didn't go, like, I'm surprised in the video he didn't look up and go, change that damn battery. I'm completely flummoxed by it.
Officer Gherkin is his name, Gerken. Lovely guy. And there was another gentleman there, I didn't get his name, but Officer Gherkin from the East Hampton Police Department. As nice as can be and as pleasant as can be about the whole thing.
And he just acts like it wasn't there. It's the funniest thing. Let's go to Sean in Meriden. Hello, sir.
Hello. Just real quick. You catch stuff that other people miss. It's hilarious. And it's really cool because I think like when I'm being creative, like I'll be someplace and something will dawn on me, and I'll talk like I had a conversation with someone who's right next to me, like we've been talking about it all the time.
Right.
And they're like, okay, your elevator ain't going to the top, but it's hilarious.
What do you got for me, Sean?
Did you hear this recent thing with the Middle East peace accord, in which Biden,
yes,
and his
Secretary of State Antony Blinken,
yes, took credit for it?
Yes. It isn't worth, I'll tell you this. The reason why I didn't go into it, because again, as petty as I am, I didn't even want to go after them. This is, if there's anything that you can get from what Joe Biden said and what Antony Blinken said, is this. And I would even go so far as to take what Jake Sullivan said, the former national security advisor, as complete opposition to Antony Blinken and Joe Biden. When you are coming in to step on the toes of Donald Trump about this peace deal, it says only one thing you need to realize, and that is how significant it is. Because I would have just, if it was nothing, you just let Donald Trump pretend that it's a glorious thing that he's trying to hang his hat on. Oh, look at him. Look at him and his small little peace deal thinking he's done something. To have those two bozos come out of the woodwork and say, oh, it's really our deal, shows you exactly all you need to know about how significant it is.
How petty they are.
Exactly. And petty they are, but just how significant it is, because they can't let him just have it. They need a piece of it themselves.
Right. And when I saw all those jets and 35 leaders of 35 nations coming together to say, some of what we're doing ain't working.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And it's not done. And Donald Trump knows that.
Yeah.
They're like, well, what about the other steps? How about you take step one? Because if you don't take step one and get it successful, then you don't have to worry about the other 19.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate you. Wendy in the chat room said that Alec Baldwin's wife is Latina. Sorry, Wendy, that is not true. Hilaria is from Boston, and she is not Spanish or Latina by any stretch of the imagination. She is a fake accent, which actually she gets called on a lot because she keeps switching in and out of it. She is a faux Tina, if anything. She's not Latina at all. Sadly, my wife is she's screaming about something. I think she's laughing at me. I don't believe that even if they are, she's born and raised in Boston. She's never had an accent. She was absolutely busted for never having an accent until, of course, she started promoting a cookbook, and then she was exposed for being just, like average New Englander. She's been faking that. Well, I don't know. I don't know about her parents being Latina. That I may have to look into, but I know that she has been pretending to be like a first generation immigrant. However, she is not. Sadly, she's not. She's about as New England as a girl gets. And her name is Hilaria, which, by the way, from what I understand, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Is she like? I'm almost certain her name is Hillary, and she pronounces her name Hilaria, which I thought it was a joke. Like, in my head, I'm saying to myself, that's got to be irony, because when I hear her name, I think hilarious, not Hilaria. Wendy says we're going to go Google her parents. It's like, what? Michael A. says that she's Wish-Tina. Not Latina, she's Wish-Tina. That's just awful. You people are mean. If I give you guys a chance, you'll just roast anybody, won't you? You just roast anybody. Just the meanest people in the world. All right, when we come back, we'll promote the website, the new Substack. Speaking of illegals, not all illegals are the same. We'll talk about that as well. Excuse me. Hollywood news. We've got 2 sequels and a remake no one asked for. When we return, we'll talk about that as well. Plus, a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, we gotta promote Robert Cool Bell of Cool in the Gang is going to be here next week on Wednesday. Friday, we've got Larissa. Why am I forgetting her name? Actress. Why am I forgetting her name? Now I feel awful that I forgot. Larissa Dolly from the movie Becky is going to be on the program on Friday. We'll talk to her. I saw the movie yesterday, and I've got to talk to her about it because it's got a couple of tropes in it. The movie is about a black couple who have just moved into a home, and they have a rather attractive white neighbor who I guess is sort of, got the eyes for the married husband in the film. We'll talk about that. Apparently, they're making a sequel to the film. And we'll talk about that, of course, during the week. Oh, let me get to this real quick. Yesterday, I promoted this. I asked the question, what does John Adams, Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, and Richard Nixon have in common? And, John Adams was a Federalist, Woodrow Wilson and Franklin Delano Roosevelt were Democrats, and, of course, Richard Nixon, a Republican. What do all of them have in common? Well, what they have in common is common with what Donald Trump is being accused of. John Adams signed the Alien and Sedition Acts, which made it legal to criticize the government. He oversaw the prosecution of about 25 people, mostly newspaper editors and political opponents who mocked him and his administration in print. For example, Congressman Matthew Lyon was jailed for calling Adams a repulsive pedant and criticizing his policies. These cases were later seen as attacks on free speech, and the laws expired or repealed soon after. Woodrow Wilson, during World War I, Woodrow signed the Espionage Act and used it to prosecute Eugene V. Debs, the Socialist Party presidential candidate, for his vocal anti-war critic. Debs was arrested after a 1918 speech opposing the draft, charged with sedition and obstructing military recruiting. He was convicted and sentenced to 10 years. Running his 1920 campaign from jail, his sentence was commuted in 1921 by the next president. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a Democrat as well. FDR directed the IRS to audit and harass political opponents, much like Barack Obama did during the 1930s, including Louisiana Senator Huey Long, a rival Democrat, and radio priest Father Charles Coughlin, who attacked the New Deal policies. The IRS launched over 50 investigations into critics' finances, often without strong evidence, to silence or discredit them. This was part of broader efforts to target enemies like business leaders and conservative groups. This all sound familiar? And let's not forget the enemies list of Richard Nixon. Nixon created that enemies list from about 20 prominent critics, including journalists, politicians, and senators like George McGovern and Hubert Humphreys, and celebrities. He ordered the IRS to audit them aggressively and pressured the DOJ to investigate or prosecute leakers and opponents tied to Watergate. For instance, his aides tried to block tax-exempt status for groups like the NAACP. These abuses led to Nixon's resignation, and amid impeachment threats. Now, all of that being considered, I want people to remember that Trump has never used the phrase political enemies. But no one ever mentions any of those four men. Just figured. Let's get to weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you are heading into Hartford on the southbound side of I-91, look for slow traffic now as you come down from Windsor. Call it from exit 35 down to 32 A and B. Another slowdown down by exit 28. 91 northbound looking real good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. Eastbound 84 locked up 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 eastbound slowing off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge as you head into South Windsor. 2 eastbound's in good shape. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound delays in Farmington 37 out to 33. The 72 interchange in Plainville. Westbound 84 is slowing from 26 up to exit 25 and again 22 to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. And if you are traveling southbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway, looks like we have an accident now southbound in the area of exit, let's call it exit 50, I'm sorry, call it from exit 38. Wheelers Farms Road in Milford. Looks like we have a crash there that's backing you up behind that, so look out for a delay there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Going to remain cloudy and windy today. There will be occasional showers. Many of these will be light. A couple could be moderate to heavy. And we'll see the northeast wind gusting up to about 35 miles an hour at times, 40 plus in some of the higher elevations in coastal areas. Highs today in the mid to upper 50s. Cloudy tonight. Still a couple of showers around. Lows in the upper 40s and low 50s. Tuesday will be mostly cloudy and breezy, though top wind speeds will come down a bit. And there'll still be a couple of showers in the area tomorrow, even into the first part of tomorrow night. Highs around are a little above 60 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
58 degrees, cloudy skies in Hartford at 4:30. Good afternoon, I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News. We will see the sun tomorrow. Forecast coming up. On day 14 of the government shutdown, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries reiterates his party's message. Republicans are responsible for the shutdown, claiming they're unwilling to come to the table to discuss extending health care tax credits for millions of agreeing to the new rules that Secretary Pete Hegseth wants to impose on journalists. President Trump says the U.S. has struck another small boat accused of carrying drugs in the waters off Venezuela. The president saying in a social media post 6 people aboard the vessel were killed. No U.S. forces were hurt. Southern California is being pummeled by a rare October storm over the fire-scarred parts of Los Angeles. Not a good situation. Federal officials have rejected a company's bid to acquire 167 million tons of coal on public lands in Montana for less than a penny per ton. It would have been the biggest U.S. government coal sale in more than 10 years. And as you've been hearing Reese talk about this story, Alec Baldwin and his younger brother Stephen escaping injury when their vehicle struck a tree in the Hamptons. In a video posted to Instagram, Alec Baldwin said he was driving his wife's Range Rover in East Hampton on Monday when he was cut off by a garbage truck. Both were not hurt. NLCS resuming with the Dodgers in Milwaukee. Dodgers up 1 game to none. First pitch tonight, 8:08. ALCS tomorrow in Seattle. Mariners up on the Blue Jays, 2 games to none. NHL action tonight. Rangers host the Oilers. Reese on the Radio continues next. 58 degrees, cloudy in Hartford. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. Taxes don't pay a nickel more than you're supposed to, especially getting close to retirement or in retirement. Call or text the word taxes to request your free copy of our Tax Explorer Guide, 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word taxes, 1-800-705-1232. Don't pay an extra nickel in taxes.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
When you drive around and look at the homes in your area, you'll see all those roofs with ugly algae streaks. Those roofs look old before their time. But with Atlas Roofing, featuring Scotchgard Protector, your roof stays beautiful, clean, and streak-free. It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary, and we would like you to get a roof that looks great year after year. For a free estimate for roofing, siding, windows, and doors, go to peterlbrown.com.
Peter L. Brown, we do it right the first time. Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products or compounded drug.
Oh, a minute.
It does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy. hims.com/joy.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we are back, folks. Don't forget, go to reasonthenradio.com. It is always beneficial to go to reasonthenradio.com so you can check out the Substacks if you have not become a subscriber. Now, I know a lot of you have, and a lot of people, I've never seen the number of people going up in, like, I have to show you exactly what the graph looks like of all the people who are actually checking out my stuff. And thank you so much. I want to thank Simsbury Joe and Greg Dillon, of course, author and basketball coach Greg Dillon, for the kind words. Thank you guys. They always leave a comment. Reading it, Susan also, Tenzer Lori does. They leave such great comments about the articles. Thank you. You encourage me to continue writing. I'm so glad that you guys like it. I work really hard on them. On Saturday night, you know, when the wife is finally done dragging me across God's green earth, doing her thing, then at night, roughly about 9, 10 o'clock, I sit in my office where I've already had the idea, and then I sort of put the whole thing together, and then you guys see it on Sunday. So I appreciate that. But if you would like to, go to reasonthenradio.com, go to the Substack section, and become a subscriber to my Substack so you can read the article. And I try to keep it, the thing about it, I like to keep it pithy, somewhat fun, humorous. When it's serious, but I try to keep it at least entertaining. So I love the fact that people are checking it out. It means the world to me that you find it interesting. You write so much great stuff about it. It's really, really sad. Wendy is in the chat room, and I guess that she was familiar with Hilaria Baldwin, Alec Baldwin's wife, and thought that she was Latina. And I remember the controversy because I don't really follow that kind of gossipy stuff, especially with somebody who had a cookbook out. I don't consider those people celebrities. I know that, you know, the Today Show does. That's just not what I consider a celebrity. But I know she had a cookbook out, and I remember the controversy about her pretending to be Hispanic and having this really thick Spanish accent. Mark from West Hartford sent me the audio of her not remembering how to say the word cucumber, which is hilarious. But Wendy just looked up her background and found out not only was she born in Boston, neither of her parents have any Hispanic roots at all. Her name is not Hilaria. It is, as I said, Hillary. Which, again, in my head, you know what I thought of? This is what I thought of, Wendy. When she chose to make her English word or English name or American name into a Spanish one, saying Hilaria. Why would you choose that? To me, that's like when I jokingly, my wife, when we get around her family, and I tell them jokingly that I know Spanish too, and I just say words in English with the letter O at the end of it, and I just go, excuse me, O. Do you know where el bathroomo is a yo, por favoro? That's what I thought when she came up with the name Hilaria. I'm just going to take the name Hillary, and I'm going to put IA at the end of it. It's the cheapest and the laziest way to choose a Spanish name. It's just awful. Let's get another check. Weather and traffic with Marco Cristoforo in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you and good afternoon, everyone. If you are traveling on the southbound side of I-91, you're going to see some slow traffic now as you move down from exit 34 down to 32A and B in Hartford. Again, some slow traffic as you move 27 down to 28. After that, good ride into Meriden. Northbound 91 moving real well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slow. About a mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound sluggish. I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. If you're traveling to eastbound, that looks good. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing. Arbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound delays. 37 Finneman Road in Farmington out to 33 and the 72 interchange in Plainville. Westbound 84 sluggish in Cheshire. 26 to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. And if you're traveling 95 southbound in New Haven, a little slow 46 to 44. Southbound on the Parkway delays 50 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Rest of this afternoon, plenty of clouds and a high of 60. We'll see clear skies tonight with a low of 51, then a partly sunny day as we head through the day tomorrow, breezy, high 63. Mainly clear tomorrow night with a low of 40, and then a pretty decent day on Thursday, partly sunny and breezy, but highs only around 56 degrees. Right now it's 58 in Newington, 59 in Unionville, and 59 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
At Columbia Dental, we love to make kids smile. Our expert pediatric dentists specialize in children's dental care, making every visit fun and comfortable. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today.
Second opinions.
You get them with your health.
So why not with your wealth?
Your stock market investments deserve a second opinion.
At Henyon & Walsh, it only takes a second
to schedule your free second opinion.
Go online and search for Henyon & Walsh, the second opinion people. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Henyon & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Henyon & Walsh Inc., member FINRA SIPC.
Life insurance. Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20.
Here we go.
CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The NAACP calls him, whoa! I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the Radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Yeah, people still upset about that whole Barack Obama thing. And, you know, it's funny. I find it interesting about the whole Barack Obama thing is that people can, they keep talking about just like, he was the first black president and he was reelected. And I'm just like, that's it? Anything else? I'd like to see anything else. I responded to one person by saying, he was black. What else? He was half white, too. So he couldn't even do that thing at 100%. I'm just saying. Even being black, he was half-assed. I'm just saying. I mean, come on. Maybe you just want me to be mean. That's all. You just stop. Sometimes it's T-ball out here. Just stop setting them up. Just please, seriously, knock it off. That's about all you got. That's about all you got. Let's get to, hey, you know what? I got a bone to pick with Wall Street Joe. Joe, now listen to me. You said something on yesterday's show, and I'm glad you called back, but I've got a bone to pick with you.
About the Conjuring House. The Conjuring House has been canceled.
No, I don't care. Okay, you said something yesterday that, again, as soon as I got off the show, I'm going through, like, as I usually do, I go over news, see if there's anything that I missed, something that I might do on the next day's show. And sure enough, I run by an MSNBC piece. And you'll never guess what the MSNBC piece was on. It was related to what you said yesterday on the show. Do you remember the question you asked? Did you forget already? Let me tell you.
The virus.
No. I'm going to refresh your memory. The question that you asked was whether or not the peace deal would hold up after Donald Trump left office. And I saw that on MSNBC. And the first thing ran through my mind was, I hope that Wall Street Joe didn't get that question because it was being asked on MSNBC. You didn't foresee that, right? You didn't see that before you asked the question.
No, I don't watch MSNBC for maybe 10 years. About 10 years since I looked at it.
I was so upset. I was just like, who the hell would... I said, if Joe got that from MSNBC, I would be so ticked off. But you know what?
I don't watch MSNBC.
No,
the MSNBC Financial, that's a separate
the
station.
the CNBC? Yeah, CNBC.
Yeah, the financial part.
Yeah, CNBC is actually, with the exception of Andrew Ross Sorkin, I could do without him any other day. But I like John Kiernan on CNBC for obvious reasons. But you had asked that question yesterday about beyond Donald Trump, what could possibly happen after the fact. I really do believe this. And truth be told, it's got to be based upon the success. And Donald Trump is looking at it this way. He said it a little bit in his speech. You know, how could we possibly just continue war as is, that be the status quo for the rest of the world? No one is giving any sort of giving any space for someone to seek peace. It's all war or nothing else. And the way he's looking at it is that why do we have to have so many people die? Can't we have some people live and be prosperous and live good lives? Like, why can't that be an option? And he's asking these folks, who's like, do you always want to be living in turmoil where everybody is at each other's throats? Why should we do that when we could actually have some prosperity for not just Jews and not even just for Saudi Arabia or Qatar? Why can't that be for every Muslim nation so that everybody can sort of, use their, have their best efforts used to live a prosperous life so that we can take care of the people who matter to us? Why not do that? And I think it's a fair question to ask.
Well, very late last night, I'm listening to Coast to Coast like I most always do.
Yeah.
And they had an expert on what's going on with the Middle East and this peace agreement.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the son of the founder of Hamas, he had a tape and he played it. There was an interview with him, a few years ago.
Yeah.
And they said you can never make peace with Israel long term. You can have a ceasefire for 10 to 15 years maximum, and you regroup and you attack some more. Israel can never be recognized as a independent country, and all Jews must die. This is the son of the founder of Hamas.
Yeah, I'm well aware of him. I've seen him. I've got audio of him. He was on Dr. Phil not too long ago. He is, this guy has had what do you call it? He has got a bounty on his head that if he is ever caught by Hamas, they will kill him, even though he is, he used to be one of the, I think it was second in command before he decided to reject it. But I will tell you this.
Hamas,
Go ahead.
Hamas just considers what's going on now a temporary truce. They're going to regroup, and it's going to happen again.
Okay. Let me just ask you this, and then I'll respond. You think that there's no likelihood that Arab countries or Arab nations will stop funding them, and people like Mahmoud Abbas are just pulling the wool over Donald Trump's eyes, and he's just going to play nice for a couple of years, and then we'll be back to the same old, same old?
I generally feel that way. They gave him that plane that was supposed to keep him on good standing with them for the next 3 years.
That's Qatar. That's not Hamas. That Mahmoud Abbas, who's supposed to be the Palestinian president, but he's really the Hamas president. because that is the political leadership of Gaza. But you don't think that Mahmoud Abbas is worth, we should trust him at all?
Well, no, they play both sides. That section of the world, they're into buying people off. They have all that oil money, and they just buy people off and buy their time. It's like a seesaw.
You do know, okay, so Hamas and Hezbollah have no real power. Everything that they get and they gain is from, I mean, they are proxies in the war, pretty much funded by Iran, right? And some of Turkey, I might add. People don't mention that, but we know. But the bottom line is that Hamas and Hezbollah are an empty, they're like the government. They're a zero-sum game. Without those parenting companies or those parent factions, they have no money, they have no establishment, they have no girth, right?
Right. But, Trump isn't going to wait long for them to disarm and surrender and go their separate ways. He's not going to let them just regroup. This is going to be all played out within the next month or so. He's going to give them a number of days to, just go away. And they're not going to do that.
Hold on. Why didn't ISIS stay?
ISIS, he got rid of ISIS. He let the generals do what they had to do.
Right, and you don't think that that's possible with Hamas? Like, do you think Hamas and Hezbollah are far more deadly than what ISIS was?
Well, in that specific spot, yes.
Just in that region. Yes.
They're already reneging on the dead bodies. They've only returned 4, maybe 8, and they say they can't get the others, and that reneges on the whole deal. That's going to turn into a big mess in the short run. Watch in the next week or so when no more than 8 bodies out of the 28 show up.
I don't think that okay. Well, I said this about a week ago. In fact, it was last week I said that returning the dead bodies was going to be arduous at best. Why? Because they're dead bodies and they're probably scattered in plenty of places that many people in Hamas, if they have been removed or sort of been boxed out of certain areas, will not even remember where those bodies are. So that's going to be a much more difficult thing. The people who are alive, easy, got them all out. Dead bodies are going to be something a little interesting as far as that's going. I'm not going to call it out by saying they gave back 8 bodies, so now it means they're not going to give up the rest. I think that's bogus. I do.
Well, no. I think they don't know, like you said, where they are, or they already burned them up into cinders.
That's quite
the past year.
Right. I believe that there's a possibility that there is some egg on some faces that say, how are we going to break it to people that we may have, done something or desecrated their remains in some way, and they're going to have to sort of figure out how to maneuver that and to still sort of keep the peace.
Hamas knew out of the 28 bodies, they only have X amount to give back. It might be 8, it might be 10, but they know the difference is never going to happen, and that's going to be a big deal. Hey, Reese, I called you for something far more important that just broke than what we're talking about.
What's that?
I came across the news, and I told you this a couple of weeks ago when they started blowing up those narco ships leaving Venezuela.
Uh-huh.
Well, they blew up another one earlier today, leaving Venezuela. 6 people on board were killed with all the drugs.
Uh-huh.
Mexico came out with a statement on behalf of the cartel shortly after that ship was blown up.
Yeah.
They gave a list of bounties specifically to Chicago, but any city in the United States. Bounties ranging from $2,000 to $50,000 at the top of the ICE chain of command. They even have bounties around $10,000 for the children of ICE agents. Information doxing the ICE agents, $2,000 per agent. Declared war on ICE, and they've warned Trump they better back off right now.
Who's making, wait. When you say Mexico, are we talking about Claudia Sheinbaum, or are you talking about cartels?
Well, it's the cartels right out of Mexico. The message came out of Mexico. They determined it came out of Mexico shortly after that. I don't know about the 6th boat they've blown up.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Mexico is ruled by the cartels. Sheinbaum does what they say, or they'll execute her.
Mm-hmm.
And the war on, I told you, the war on drugs is already spreading to all our cities here in the United States, and it's going to be a big mess here like there are in Venezuela and Mexico, and Trump is not going to put up with it. He's going to send in Navy SEAL type operations like Osama bin Laden, and there's going to be executions in Mexico. These big drug
I don't
strongholds
think that's going to be the case. I really, really don't. And I know all about the bounties coming in from the cartels. Let me just put it to you this way. There's a little bit of fugazi going on with the cartels making public statements about putting bounties on ICE agents. But you know what? I'll talk about that another time, and I'll tell you why, because let me just put it this way. I think there's a little bit of rub going on with the cartels talking that nonsense.
Do you think an ICE agent or a family member may be kidnapped in the near future?
Nah.
And then what?
And I would put it to you this way. Let me use a phrase that the kids use. The cartels don't want that smoke. And I think CNN, and I have enough evidence to support that there's no real threat coming out of Mexico. If someone actually puts a hit out on an ICE agent and someone actually acts on it, all hell will break loose, but it won't be in the way that you think it will. It will definitely be. It won't be shock and awe, but it will definitely. I don't think that any of that holds any true weight. But thank you, Joe. I appreciate you, big guy. Let's take Max in Bristol real quick before we take a break. How are you doing, sir?
Good, my friend. Awesome. Hey, so I only caught a piece of your show today.
Okay.
But I'm a little disappointed in you, my friend.
Please.
Yeah, you had a perfect lineup with the whole Alec Baldwin thing. And
I missed it? What did I miss?
Her name is Hilaria.
Yes.
Right? Or
yes.
what she claimed. You just you were laughing your butt off. It's hilarious.
Well, that's what I said. You missed that. I did say it. I said that. I totally said that. I said immediately when I heard she called herself Hilaria, the only thing I thought of was, how did this woman not know that it was like a syllable away from hilarious? Like, I did.
Yeah,
how did she
joke.
miss that?
Oh.
It's such a horrible name to choose. Now people in the chat room
really
calling themselves Wendia, and as I referred to Marco Cristofaro in the BPS traffic center.
Yeah. I heard that part.
Okay.
I missed the hilarious part. So I'm glad you did it. I'm so glad
Oh,
you
yeah,
did
there
it.
was no way I was going to miss that one at all.
Yeah, because that was on point.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Max. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Reese. Have a great one,
You
bud.
got it, man. You too. Yeah, it's so bad. It's just so bad. By the way, check out the dash cam video if you haven't on Alec Baldwin explaining how he says that the vehicle cut him off, which is, it couldn't be further from the truth to say that the truck cut him off. The truck was traveling for at least 4 seconds on the road and then pulls in. As if you own a home, if you've ever been in a home, and the garbage man comes by and they merge to the curb to grab your trash cans. That's all that happened. That's all that happened. And as he merged in a 1-lane, we're not talking about a 2-lane road. If Alec Baldwin had to go around that vehicle, he would have to gone into oncoming traffic if he'd gone to the left. But instead, he goes on to the right, and he crashes. That's exactly what happened. Roland, did you want to say something? Oh, no, that's not Roland. That's, okay, I know exactly what that is. Okay. That's what I figured. I was like, why is that? I'm hearing the microphone on in the background. That's probably Bob Brown. Bob, is that you?
It's always me.
Ah. How are you?
sir?
I'm
How are
good.
you?
We never get to talk, so I'm going to take
Hey,
this
wait a minute.
opportunity.
I, was saying, I know people in Connecticut, well, they might be familiar with the area. You're from Hollis, Queens?
I'm from Hollis, Queens, sir.
I'm over the border in New Hyde Park.
I know, and the reason why I said, that's what I said earlier. I said New Hyde Park might as well be Queens because I can still walk there.
Yes, it's basically right on the border.
You were born and raised there in that area?
No, actually born in the Bronx. First 6 months of my life in the Bronx.
First
Bronx
6.
boy.
Do you mind my asking before we go to BPS? Where in the Bronx? Like exactly, if you could, like, were you near
It was
2 train,
probably
6 train?
It's probably not far from the zoo. The Newbridge Road area.
Yeah, of course, I know it well.
Yeah,
Absolutely, I used to live in Parkchester.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, man, I'm a Bronx kid too, but that's another story. All right, Bob Brown is coming up with news. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. We're just reminiscing over here, Mark.
Nothing wrong with that. Thank you, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford right now, on the southbound side of I-91, you got some slow traffic, 33 to 32. Again, 27 down to 28, Hartford Weathersfield line. Northbound 91, that's a good ride. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound delays about a mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. If you are traveling to eastbound, moving okay, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound, a little slow, Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Farmington, delays 38 down to 33, and the 72 interchange in Plainville. If you're westbound 84 in Waterbury, slow traffic 23 up to the Mixmaster. Eastbound 84 in Cheshire, a little tight by the 691 interchange. 95 southbound slows 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
This report is brought to you by Moderna.
Mnexspike, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA by Moderna has arrived. To learn more and find it near you, visit mnexspike.com. That's MNEXSPIKE.com.
WTIC weather.
It's going to remain cloudy and windy today. There will be occasional showers. Many of these will be light. A couple could be moderate to heavy. And we'll see the northeast wind gusting up to about 35 miles an hour at times, 40 plus in some of the higher elevations in coastal areas. Highs today in the mid to upper 50s. Cloudy tonight. Still a couple of showers around. Lows in the upper 40s and low 50s. Tuesday will be mostly cloudy and breezy, though top wind speed will come down a bit. And there'll still be a couple of showers in the area tomorrow, even into the first part of tomorrow night. Highs around are a little above 60 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
59 degrees, cloudy skies in Hartford at 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News. Skies should be clearing out by tonight, leaving for a pretty good Wednesday. Sun will return. Without comment, the Supreme Court has declined to hear an appeal by conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. He's been fighting the massive judgment against him in a defamation lawsuit by Sandy Hook families. WTIC's Dave Meager reports.
In 2022, a Waterbury judge and jury ordered Jones to pay $1.4 billion to the families. They successfully claimed Jones was defaming them by lying about the shootings. For years, Jones said they were a hoax played out by crisis actors. The families say that claim led to extensive harassment by Jones' followers. He's been fighting to pay nothing, most recently appealing a court order to liquidate his assets. The plaintiff's attorney, Chris Maddy, told WTIC News 3 years ago,
he's going to have to pay to the families, whether it's $1.4 billion or something less than that. He's going to have this verdict hanging over his head until he pays it.
Now, Maddy calls the failed Supreme Court appeal, quote, a desperate attempt to avoid accountability. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
She's a school therapist, but now she's been charged here in Connecticut after allegedly trying to poison her husband.
Cheryl Gates is a school therapist for the Charlotte, North Carolina School District. She's been charged with attempted murder after she allegedly tried to drug her husband's energy drink. Court documents show the 43-year-old used ChatGPT to research drug combinations that could be lethal or incapacitating. Gates also allegedly stalked her husband, broke his window, and put a tracking device on his vehicle. Police say the allegations took place off school property and did not involve any students, teachers, or faculty members. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Earlier this month, officials in Connecticut say a woman was charged with trying to fatally poison her partner during a bitter custody battle. Hamas releasing the bodies of 4 more Israeli hostages held in Gaza as President Trump urges Hamas to hand over all of the remaining bodies. CBS News reporter Linda Grandstein reports from Jerusalem.
Israel said that 2 of the bodies returned on Monday were 53-year-old Yossi Sharabi, whose brother Eli was released alive a few months ago, and a 22-year-old Israeli army officer, Daniel Peretz. Earlier, Israel said that one of the other bodies was a Nepali national. Israel limited the amount of aid allowed into Gaza to protest the fact that Hamas has not returned all of the bodies as called for in the ceasefire agreement. Hamas says it has not been able to locate all of the bodies.
The union supporting air traffic controllers handing out leaflets about the shutdown at airports nationwide, including Ronald Reagan in Washington, warning staffers warning that safety and staffing is at risk. In Washington at this hour, President Trump posthumously presenting the Medal of Freedom Award to Charlie Kirk, who was shot and killed by an assassin's bullet in Utah. Tens of thousands of Kaiser Permanente registered nurses and healthcare professionals across California and Hawaii starting their strike this morning. This worker explaining why he's striking in Los Angeles.
Everybody wants excellent care, but the issue is nobody wants to pay.
The union representing the workers says the Kaiser management has not offered a fair contract after months of negotiations. And iconic R&B artist D'Angelo has died at the age of 51. Cloudy skies, 58 degrees. Reese on the radio continues up next. The Dow today closing up 202 points. 58 cloudy. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News.
Security is huge.
That's Pete Sweeney, Director of Operations at United Tool and Die Company in West Hartford.
We have requirements that we need to meet, and TAB provides us with the tools necessary to make sure that we're compliant.
Pete's confident in his security because he has an ASP, Actual Service Provider, TAB Computer Systems. As an ASP, TAB provides Pete with a higher level of service at a lower cost. Call TAB at 1-888-TAB-4-HELP or visit tabinc.com. Technologies advancing business. TAB Computer Systems.
How did you get your tripping breakers fixed so fast?
ALO Home Services, same day electrical. I gave them a call and they had a technician on their way. They even sent the technician's real-time location so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day electrical, call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. License number HIC 628926, P102776688, S1041347, D104014665, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
That happened so darn fast. I was like, I wasn't even expecting that. The news comes so fast, and all of a sudden I'm back on the air. Let's do the thing. It's Hollywood News with your correspondent, Reese on the radio. All the glitz and all the glamour. It's Hollywood News. Now, I don't know about you, but Roland doesn't care. And I only brought this up because he's not a person who cares about this stuff. Roland, you don't care how many sequels come out. If it's a movie you love, you will go and see it. Is that true?
That is correct.
Yeah, see, he doesn't care. So these were probably movies that he would go see. I don't know if you would, but you may. But I've got 2 sequels and a remake no one asked for. First up, another Jumanji is being made. The 2017 revamp of the 1995 Robin Williams film is now on its 3rd installment. One of yours?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're definitely going to go see it. Well, you'll have to wait until December of 2026, so you got another year before that comes out. Yeah. Now, I am not figuring out how these two got together. Sigourney Weaver has just met with Disney executives to do a sequel to another Alien movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I said. I went, when have these two been the same? Yeah, so it turns out that, it's going to be Sigourney Weaver working on another Alien film, but apparently it is executive produced or in some way related to Disney Studios.
How?
I don't know, but apparently they're doing some of the production. It'll be probably under one of their subsidiary companies,
okay.
But Disney probably owns so many. But she just met with them, and apparently she just read the first 50 pages of the new film. They haven't disclosed exactly what her role is going to be, but it will be Ripley, but they don't know exactly how much she will be in the film. It may be a guest appearance. She might be, she won't be the lead, though. But they say that she is reading the script for a new one. And now for the film that no one asked for. Are you a Sean Connery fan, Roland?
I am, of course.
Okay,
Who's not?
so am I. I like Sean Connery, but one of the throwaway films he did, with the exception of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or whatever it's called, he did a very cult film called Highlander. You familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah. There can only be one. Well,
Yep.
apparently there is now 2. Another Highlander film is being made, a remake. Jeremy Irons will take over Sean Connery's role, but the lead actor will be Man of Steel's.
That was a series before, right?
Yeah, it was a series. Man of Steel's Henry Cavill will play the lead role. We've got Russell Crowe, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillian, of course, of the Jumanji fame, and Himon Hyunsu, give me the blood diamond. He's going to be in the film as well. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. I think it's Bob Larson I just heard is in weather. Mark Christopher is in a BPS traffic center. You had to have seen Highlander, Mark. Come on.
No.
Oh,
No. Sorry. I was doing good with the John Candy movies.
It's okay. I thought it was because it was in the 80s. You might have, but then again, that's college years for you. So I got to go further back than that. I got to stay in the 70s with you. I
saw Jaws. I saw Towering Inferno.
Exactly. I got to stay
some of those
there.
movies.
Yeah.
I did see Mad Max in the 80s.
You did? Really?
Yeah.
What?
It was a
Now
great
you have
movie.
to tell me, for a guy who doesn't go to the movies, why'd you go see Mad Max?
I think Mel Gibson was just the bomb back in those days.
He was. Did you see Beyond Thunderdome?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
yes,
how do you
I did.
not? How do you not? I hated both of those films.
Well.
I did. They weren't for me.
I saw, what else did I see? Oh, I saw Purple Rain.
Yeah, that's 82, though. That's 82.
84.
Is it 84?
84.
Oh, that's right. The album's earlier. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 84.
So,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I saw a couple of movies in the 80s.
Yeah. Very early.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm old. What are you going to do? Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84 tied up just after 56 Governor Street out to 47. Sigourney 84 eastbound tied up about a mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. Southbound 91 slows Hartford 33 down to 32. Again, 27 to 28. Northbound side of 91 easy ride Cromwell up into Windsor. 291 384 okay. 2 eastbound just a little slow coming off of I-84. On Route 2 in East Hartford. 9 northbound slows Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Farmington. You've got delays from 37 out to 33 and the 72 interchange. Westbound 84 into Waterbury slows 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound's a little tight. 26 down to the 691 interchange. South 95 New Haven slows 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear tonight with a low of 50, then partly sunny and breezy tomorrow with a high of 65. Clear to partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 41. A cooler day on Thursday, a breezy one also with partly sunny skies and a high of 56, and then mostly sunny on Friday with a high of 60. Right now it's 58 in Manchester, 60 in Plainville, and 59 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. Has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo at Hannaford. It's got twang.
Don't let ugly algae streaks bring down your curb appeal. Choose the roof that keeps its color, its strength, and its beauty. Atlas Roofing with Scotchgard Protector. Because the only thing your neighbors should notice is how great your roof looks. Please visit peterlbrown.com.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 369-369 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 369-369. That's HIM to 369-369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of...
Oh, a minute.
Ever wonder why Big
Yes,
Wireless
sir.
wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting
Call
used.
1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. I'll get to the phone calls in a second. Obamacare is going to be the conversation that many of us have in the next week, and I think it will dominate the headlines primarily because it has been made very evident that the Democrats are not going to get back to the table until after the No Kings protest 2.0. And there's been so much sort of fervor taken out of this so far that many people are already saying that, like, they're already starting to sort of key in. Don't expect too much from this protest, that it's lost a lot of its edge and a lot of its teeth. And it's to be expected. It's always the case, because you should never plan stuff like this in advance, because you're giving people an opportunity to counter it. And Donald Trump is watching the left do what it does, and then he does something that completely, like, sabotages the whole thing. And that's what's happening. They know that their polling numbers after the last No Kings went nowhere. But if I might venture, I want to play this real quick. And it was Mike Johnson talking about what the Democrats want. Forget about Obamacare. That's a big deal as far as Obamacare is concerned. And again, like I said, that debate's happening next week. You could damn well bet that is going to be on the lips of every individual in the news media. We have to hash it out. Obamacare is a bust, and it's about to go. It's about to be over. Remember what Sonny Host in Houston Houston said.
Everyone wants, the subsidies to continue. They want the Affordable Care Act to continue. And the reason I think that Mike Johnson is not holding session is because Donald Trump wants to screw up Obama's legacy. This is all about Donald Trump being the small, petty man that he is, and he doesn't want Obama to have that legacy.
Now that they no longer have Roe v. Wade, this is it. Now, birthright citizenship is going to be a big thing, too. Can't wait for that. That's being heard by the Supreme Court in the coming months. And like I said, this is a big deal. But Mike Johnson did something today that I think is quite crushing to Democrats. And it's not so much about what they want for illegals. It's what they want for others. Here's a list.
It would also restore up to $5 billion of American taxpayer funds for wasteful spending for international projects. Here's a couple of examples. This is in their legislation, their counterproposal on the CR to keep the lights open. This is what they want to do. They want to spend $24.6 million of your hard-earned dollars as a taxpayer for climate resilience in Honduras. They want to spend $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe. They want to send $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western Balkans. They want to spend $2.9 million of your dollars for desert locust risk reduction in the Horn of Africa. And $2 million for, quote, organizing for feminist democratic principles in Africa.
Now, how do you not listen to that and say, are these people serious? Like, is that what they're... And all I would ask is, I would just ask any one of them. And again, here's another great opportunity, WFSB. Here's another opportunity, WTNH. Here's another opportunity, Fox 61. Here's another opportunity. You guys love to talk about it. It was Ned Lamont, who was on CNN today, who said that Democrats need to hold the line with this on it. With this stuff on it. Ned Lamont today said Democrats need to hold the line. Well, all of you journalists out there, you need to ask the question, this is what they're holding the line for? Huh, Chris Murphy? This is what they need to, this is what you're asking folks to get out on the street on Saturday to protest, to make sure that they do, that the Democrats get all of this stuff. Let's do it again.
It would also restore up to $5 billion of American taxpayer funds for wasteful spending for international projects. Here's a couple of examples. This is in their legislation, their counterproposal on the CR to keep the lights open. This is what they want to do.
If anything, I would, again, if I'm them, if I'm a Democrat, I would do what comes natural, lie. But to know that this stuff is in there, this stuff is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous that anybody put this somewhere for people to read. But you notice that no one in the mainstream media is asking about it. Because I would just simply say, hey, Hakeem, come on. Hakeem Jeffries was on CNN the other day. He was on MSNBC the day before that. No one has brought it up, and they all have read it. They all know it's there. But no, you notice nobody brings it up. These ridiculous programs. And nobody asks.
They want to spend $24.6 million of your hard-earned dollars as a taxpayer for climate resilience in Honduras. They want to spend $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe. They want to send $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western Balkans.
You can't get a WIC check. You may not be getting your food stamps. You're worried about getting your Social Security check. What is all that for? Climate change in Zimbabwe? Is that really what we're, like, really? Is that what No Kings is supposed to represent? Who's going out there? I can't wait to see you. Get in front of the cameras. I want to see you. Wave your no fascism sign. I got to see it.
They want to spend $2.9 million of your dollars for desert locust risk reduction.
Ned Lamont said, hold the line.
In the Horn of Africa. And $2 million for, quote, organizing for feminist democratic principles in Africa.
Feminist democratic principles in Africa. You can't get a WIC check. How do you not? Like, seriously, you folks who are being asked to go out there and protest on Saturday, the rest of us are looking at you, those who listen to this program, and I know a lot of you do. Just remember, I am sitting at home. I'm going to be online, and I'm going to watch every one of you, and I'm going to watch you, and I'm going to record you. And if you say something to one of those reporters out there, and I hope that there's a reporter out there, it's unfortunate that I can't be there, but trust me, if I was, I would go to every one of you, and I would ask you, do you mean to tell me that some poor mother can't get a WIC check because we don't have feminism in the Horn of Africa or some nonsense? Is that what you're out here making sure that that woman can't feed her babies because you want to spend millions of dollars for LGBTQIA in the Republic of Congo? Whatever it was, I don't know. I can't stand it. That's all I want to do. I want you all to justify it. But like I said earlier, none of these people have an original thought. None, because if they did, they would know that this is ridiculous. Every one of these asks by Democrats is ridiculous. You couldn't possibly be asking to do this to the American people who you think are the most vulnerable for this bull? Come on, folks. Just seriously. just show a semblance of seriousness. Just be a serious person. They want to support the gay gorillas in the Congo rainforest. That's a constituency, Michael. It's an untapped resource. It is. You don't know what you're talking about. Chip is in Coventry. How are you, sir?
Yeah. Are you joking about the gay gorillas or what?
What do you do? How do you take anybody seriously? How am I supposed to do that?
You got me laughing, Professor Reese. All right. You know something? I think I have the solution for some of the Democrats like AOC, Hakeem Jeffries, and Chucky, and we'll throw in Al Sharpton.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just my theory now, Reese. I think if they decreased their level of THC intake, they might come back to reality. I'm just saying.
I think there's some legalization of weed that's really happening inside the halls of Congress. You're 100% right about that.
I would love to see AOC and MTG in one of those boxing matches, or throw in Jasmine Crockett. I'll take MTG anyway. But here's my question.
Yes, sir.
My concern, on a serious note, with the release of most of the hostages, excluding, I guess, 20...
Those who have died, yeah.
Yeah. Here's my concern. You know, we've already, meaning, I guess, the United Nations, USA, have been providing them with aid and food and etc. My concern, or my thought, is this. Because Hamas, they don't care if they live or die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they released, thank God, the 20 living Israelis, and
right.
I think some Americans. Here's my thing, and I just thought about this the other night. I'll bet you, and I hope I'm wrong, that in time that Hamas will rebuild, like, you know, they'll rebuild with Iran, they'll connect with, and they're going to start this within years, maybe less, and go back to what they started. What do you think?
A lot of people are concerned about that, and you know what it is? I think people are looking at this from this particular point of view. You have a war that is waged for 3,000 years, and peace at this point seems impossible. You cannot trust it. No one spends 3,000 years in a war, and then out of nowhere, abruptly, it comes to an end, and everybody goes on their opposite sides, and it's over. So I get it. It sort of like says, when will everyone finally, when will they extinguish their bloodlust, if you will, right? And can that ever be achieved? Does it happen moderately, or can it, because in this case, it's hard to believe that it can come to an abrupt stop. I agree with you. I don't expect it to come to an abrupt start. However, I do think we need these next 3 years, that if these Arab countries do come to the table, which, by the way, if I want to say this real quick to you, and I got about a minute and a half, I want you to consider this in that question.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems I've always had when people have asked me about this was, what were the Arab countries surrounding Israel and the Gaza Strip doing at the time when Gazans were always at war with Israelis? They allowed those people to live in poverty and to live in what they called oppression. They never, ever made sure that those people, with only 2.5 million, some of the richest Arab countries around, never did a thing to ensure their prosperity. They left them there to wallow in misery and blamed the Jews for it, when they could have made their lives prosperous, could have gone in there and given them education, could have gone in there and given them jobs and allowed them to flourish, but they didn't. They kept them angry, which I always equated to the black community here in the United States and the Democrat Party. That was what they were doing, keeping those people hostile. So now the Arab countries have got Donald Trump. Donald Trump asked those Arab countries to do the thing that I've been telling people to do for the last 30 years. Those Arab countries to make Gaza flourish and to tell them that there is no more war. It's over. And if there is going to be a war, that all of that other nonsense ceases. They will never, ever I mean, you just have to remove them. Egypt won't take them. We know Jordan won't take him. And why? Because of the same reasons that Israeli has been having the problems with them. Is because every time they come into those countries, they wreak havoc. Now those Arab nations, if they're footing the bill, have got to tell them, you've got to adhere. Right? If you can be prosperous. Go ahead.
One last quick thing regarding Hamas. A leopard never changes its spots.
I know, and I listen. I am just as I'm just as much of a skeptic as you are, but I gotta be hopeful because I do believe that this is a different avenue than has ever been taken before. But we'll see. Like I said, it's a waiting game at this point. I got to get to the BPS Traffic Center. Thanks, Chip. We'll take your phone calls and we'll wrap this puppy up in a short bit. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91 delays 33, down to 32 A and B. You'll slow again 29A down through exit 28 on the Hartford Weatherseal line. If you're northbound 91, looks real good. Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is running slow east Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slowing about a mile before 46 Avenue into the tunnel. You'll slow a little bit again out by the 384 interchange at exit 59. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. Some slow traffic 2 eastbound by exit 3 in East Hartford. 9 northbound, some slow traffic as you move up on Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound delays 36 Slater Road in New Britain down to 33 in Plainville in the 72 interchange. Westbound 84 in Waterbury slowing 22 to the Mixmaster, and 84 eastbound in Cheshire tied up 26 down in toward the 691 interchange. New Haven 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Going to remain cloudy and windy today. There will be occasional showers. Many of these will be light. A couple could be moderate to heavy. And we'll see the northeast wind gusting up to about 35 miles an hour at times, 40 plus in some of the higher elevations in coastal areas. Highs today in the mid to upper 50s. Cloudy tonight. Still a couple of showers around. Lows in the upper 40s and low 50s. Tuesday will be mostly cloudy and breezy, though top wind speeds will come down a bit. And there'll still be a couple of showers in the area tomorrow, even into the first part of tomorrow night. Highs around are a little above 60 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
59 degrees, cloudy skies in Hartford at 5:30. Good afternoon. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News. Skies clearing out tonight, promising a much better day tomorrow. The forecast coming up. Alec Baldwin and his younger brother Stephen escaping injury when their vehicle struck a tree in East Hampton Monday. Neither he nor his brother were injured, but the car had extensive damage. Leaf viewing season arriving in the Northeast and beyond, but weeks of drought have muted this year's autumn colors and sending leaves fluttering to the ground earlier than usual. Soaking in the fall foliage is an annual tradition here in New England. Meta says teens on Instagram will be restricted to seeing PG-13 content by default and won't be able to change their settings without a parent's permission. Protesters pedaling through Portland streets wearing nothing or close to it, rallying against the Trump administration. It's an emergency edition of the annual Portland World Naked Bike Ride. Former NFL quarterback and sports analyst Mark Sanchez has been released from custody about a week after police said he was stabbed during a fight with a truck driver in Indiana. On Wall Street today, the Dow closed up 202 points. The S&P was down 10. The NASDAQ was down 172 points. Sports, NLCS resumes with the Dodgers in Milwaukee. Dodgers up 1-0. First pitch tonight in Milwaukee at 8:08. ALCS resuming tomorrow in Seattle. Mariners up on the Toronto Blue Jays 2-0. NHL action tonight. Rangers hosting the Oilers at the Garden. Reese on the Radio continues up next. 59 degrees, cloudy skies in Hartford. For more on these and other stories, go to WTIC.com. I'm Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic a part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, ShopRite, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com. A winning team has great players and coaches with different strengths and expertise, but all with a common goal: to win. A full-service law firm is no different. At BPS Lawyers, we have top legal minds in every specialty: personal injury, business law, family law, law, criminal defense, and more. Visit any of our 6 offices across Connecticut. When it comes to the law, you don't just need a lawyer. You need a full-service law firm. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Visit bpslawyers.com, proud full-service law partner of UConn Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearest is responsible for this ad. What are you doing this Thanksgiving morning? Join the fun with thousands of others for the 89th running of the Manchester Road Race. Whether you run or walk, you'll be part of one of the greatest sports traditions in Connecticut. You can register now at manchesterroadrace.com. And please keep in mind that net proceeds from the Manchester Road Race go to local food charities. So if you run or walk but don't register, the charities lose. Please register today at manchesterroadrace.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the eye.
Yes,
to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS.
I'm going to bring you back and then run to the bathroom.
Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
It's What Had Happened Was, brought to you by the Odyssey app, and of course, ReeseOnTheRadio.com. And if you ever want to find out what happened was, you got to go to both of those places. Earlier in the show, we talked about Barack Obama's legacy. Of course, we talked about what's Donald Trump's standing on the world stage today, with so many people who thought that he was a reckless individual. Where does he stand today was the question. We also talked about Obama's legacy, where that is today, and is it pretty much paper thin at this point? And I think it's fair to say it was. And a lot of people can argue that, he was popular. That's great. I mean, if popularity is the thing, hey, you go, boy. Knock it out of the park. I think it's absolutely fantastic. But I was bringing the point that Barack Obama is on the world stage now doing all of these interviews. He's going on anybody's podcast that he could. He is in the public eye, not because he wants to be president again, is because he knows his legacy is at risk. And there is a back and forth between he and Donald Trump. If I can go so far as to say this, and again, you can go to my Substack and look up the article I wrote about it. It was always Trump versus Obama. It was. And it began with the birth certificate. That was the starting point between the both of them. And when Donald Trump said that he had hoped Barack Obama would be a cheerleader for the country, that rubbed Barack Obama the wrong way. But he failed to realize that is what your job is as the president of the United States, is that you were trying to see what's best for the American people. They elected you because they're putting themselves in your hands as the president of the United States. Chris Rock famously said, I see Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as mom and dad. You might remember that. And that's what they are. They're the mother and father of the country. And that birth certificate thing really, really bothered Barack Obama. That bothered him because everyone else who had tried to get under Barack Obama's skin, everybody came to the defense of. They would really, they would jump out and they would don't worry, Obama, I got this. So if you criticize Barack Obama, everyone came to his aid. Don't worry, we got the small stuff, Barack. They protected him. They isolated him, kept him protected in a bubble. But Donald Trump didn't care. No matter what they said about him, he kept coming. More and more. to the point where Barack Obama was forced to hold a press conference and release his long-form birth certificate. That made Obama mad. I'll tell you a little bit more about this because a lot of you folks forgot. We'll break that down when we return. Bob Larson's got weather. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 91 southbound delays 33 to 32 A and B in Hartford. And again, some slow traffic approaching 27 down to 28 Hartford Weathersfield line. And you'll slow again from 19 down to 17 and the Wilbur-Cross Parkway in Meriden. Looks real good, 91 northbound Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows approaching the Bulkgate Bridge to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound tight about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue. Into the tunnel, you'll lose speed again up by exit 59 in the 384 interchange. 2 westbound slowing, 1D up to the 84 West merge. Heading into Middletown. That looks good, 9 in the Aragoni Bridge. Look out for some slow traffic now. 9 southbound as you approach the 91 south ramp. In Cromwell, you're going to see some slow traffic as you move up on exit 30. So a little slow there. And also on 9 northbound, you got some slow traffic now as you move up on exit 31 in Berlin. Could have an accident there on the northbound side of Route 9, so look out for that. If you're heading in toward the Farmington area, westbound 84 delays from 36 Slater Road out to exit 33 in Plainville. 84 westbound Waterbury sluggish from 23 up to the Mixmaster in downtown Waterbury. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Coming clear tonight with a low of 50, then a breezy day tomorrow with sun and a few clouds with a high of 65. Clear to partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 41, then a cooler day on Thursday under partly sunny skies with highs around 56. Mostly sunny and rather pleasant on Friday with a high around 60. Right now it's 58 in Manchester, 58 in Newington, and 59 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Get more than you expect with McValue at McDonald's. Enjoy the little spicy of your hot and spicy McChicken meal deal for only $5 or the McDouble meal deal for only $6. Price participation may vary.
Never liked braces? Invisalign is an alternative that may be right for you. It's removable, more comfortable, and reduces the risk of developing cavities and gum disease. Get your dream smile discreetly and easily. Call Columbia Dental at 860-645-0111.
Ugh, dead battery.
Head to Batteries Plus. Our experts will set you up with a new car battery. Most are installed in under 20 minutes.
That was fast.
Upgrade with a premier install for longer battery life. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Experience a night of musical grandeur with the Hartford Symphony Orchestra, October 17th through the 19th at the Bushnell. Enjoy an unforgettable performance under the direction of Vishwa Subbaraman, featuring Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 3, showcasing the brilliant guest pianist Drew Peterson. Feel the stormy intensity as we explore Carl Nielsen's Helios Overture and Sibelius' Symphony No. 2, a powerful exploration of contrast and renewal. Reserve your seats today. Call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
Here at ALO, we believe hearing solutions to your main drain problems shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO when you call, click, or text today and say, "Hello, ALO." Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P10277688, S10413487, D10401465, S3308699, SM3004646. E1185643.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, before I got cut off, Michael B is saying in the chat room, yeah, he definitely gets under his skin. Yeah, he does because, if you really think about it, I always tell people, go back and watch that montage, or as we call it, a supercut here at Reese On The Radio. Go watch the supercut of all of the people who laughed at the possibility of Donald Trump not only running, but being a front runner. There's that famous video of Ann Coulter on Real Time with Bill Maher, and Joy Reid was one of the panelists. And Bill Maher asked Ann Coulter, who of the declared Republicans will win the Republican nomination? And Ann Coulter says, of the declared Republicans, Donald J. Trump. And the whole audience laughs their head off. And look where we are now. They thought it was a joke. Seth Meyers famously said at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, I think the joke went something like Donald Trump. I heard Donald Trump would be running for president. I understood he would be running as a Republican. I thought that he would be running as a joke. Oh, and the people laughed, ha, 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 ha. And remember Barack Obama in mean tweets on Jimmy Kimmel Live, famously reading a mean tweet by Donald Trump that Barack Obama would go down as the worst president in history. And Barack Obama, having a drop the mic moment, said, at least I'll go down as a president in history. To which everybody rip-roaringly laughed. After the Access Hollywood tape, I think there were people who were saying that the possibility of Hillary Clinton becoming president was 90% positive. It was a shoo-in. And for that woman to lose sent the entire world, it turned it upside down. There's no other way to look at it. Everything that Barack Obama did, everything that Barack Obama was protected from the news media who had his back, anyone who tried him, Donald Trump didn't care. He took everybody who came his way. Every time they spoke up about him, he said things you weren't supposed to say in polite company. Yeah, I think Barack Obama's a horrible president. I don't think he accomplished anything. I think he's trash. And the people just looked around. And I love the way they did it. They all looked around and was like, did he just say that? Did he? No, you're going to let him say that? And everyone rallied around Barack Obama and against Donald Trump. And he just said, so what? Which, again, goes back to the Charlemagne the God comment. When he said, all that nonsense about people talking about what they have the political will to do, Donald Trump has proved, and all of it is dead. Because, again, it is about not caring. You have way too many people. I'm still getting text messages from the same person who keeps making it about caring, about someone feeling slighted, about someone feeling it's like, I'm offended. You can't say that. That's not allowed. Who says? And here's the other thing, just so you know. Here's the other thing. The people who are saying that it isn't allowed think that they are the arbiter of what is allowed. They've anointed themselves. I always go back to Thomas Sowell. They've been anointed, self-anointed, I might add, to say that they get to deem what is acceptable. You can't say that. Transgender women are men. You can't say that. Yes, I can. And I'll say it again. No, but you can't say that. Or else. Or else what? What happens? Well, then we'll get you fired. Come with it. Come with it. It doesn't matter whether or not I get fired. It doesn't matter. Nope. I'm still going to say it. I'm going to say it again and again and again. And why should you be the person who gets to punish me? Why do you get to be in charge? And why is it acceptable for you to be in charge, for you to be able to just exact any retribution against me because you don't like it. Why? Who made you? I mean, you guys get to be judge and jury all the time. You just do. You get to tell everybody what they're allowed to say. You get to tell everybody what they're allowed to think. And if somebody turns around and looks at you and says, nope, I don't care, so what? And with confidence, a lot of people don't have enough confidence to do it. You just have to look at these folks and just say, no, I'm not adhering to those rules. So that's the whole deal with Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't care. It's like, you're not going to silence me. I'm Donald J. Trump. I built things. I'm a captain of industry. I built myself from the millionaire club to the billionaire club, or whatever. I didn't start from the bottom, but whatever. But he made a name for himself. And I'm sorry, look, I'm going to look at Donald Trump this way, okay? He earned the right to say no. I'm not adhering. He earned it. And here's what makes it better. And leftists, you need to understand it. You're never going to win another real election until you do. Donald Trump did the one thing that made it all possible. He didn't just say, I get to say this. He said, you do too. You know what? I'll go one step further. If you're willing to, because you won't, but you should. Listen to at least 3 Donald Trump speeches from any time. You can go here in the 2024 campaign. You can go back to the 2016 campaign. But go look at one of those Trump speeches and then do the same thing, any one of the stump speeches by Barack Obama. And I want you to do a word count on 2 words. Just 2. Do a word count on who says, out of the 2 men, Barack Obama versus Donald Trump, on the words you and the word I. And tell me who says what more. Spoiler alert, Donald Trump always says you, or he says we. In a weird way, Donald Trump talks about things in a collective way. We as Americans. Us. Our. That's the way he addresses it. Again, he gave everybody permission to say, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. We're not going to take that nonsense anymore. We're the United States of America, and you are great people. You folks out there doing the hard work, you guys pulling your weight, doing the things that you're supposed to do, trying to raise your family, trying to give them a better life. We are building this country back up from the doldrums of yesteryear. Barack Obama, I heard those speeches because I listened to every one of them. I'm going to, I would like. The only time he ever said the word we, or at least most of the time when he said we, he told us that's not who we are. That's not who we are. He's always chastising us. I love that comedian, Dave Smith, who said that every time you see Barack Obama at a stump speech for some other candidate, he's always talking about how you're a horrible person because you will not elect or support the person that he's selecting. How horrible you are as an individual because you won't adhere. That's what the guy spent his entire career talking about me, my, and I. And then after he's gained all of the wealth that a man can get, by the way, Barack, how much is enough? Your words, not mine. After all of that, with all of the millions, with all of the homes, traveling all over the world, with Secret Service protection, America's still a horrible place, huh? Even for you. Black guy with a funny name. Remember those days? It's funny how Michelle Obama said, for the first time in my adult life, I am proud of my country. I wonder how she felt in 2016. I guess it was the last time. I find it odd. What's going on, Fulton? How are you?
What's up, buddy? I was wondering if we could dig down into the Little Britain thing a little bit with the girl.
Yeah, what do you got?
Did the murder actually happen in Farmington?
Yes, and you know what someone did, Aaron was in the chat room who did say that she died in Farmington. She was found in New Britain at the abandoned home.
I mean, everybody's on air. I mean, so that's like saying a body's found somewhere and that's where no, like, why has the Farmington mayor not said anything? Why has the governor not said anything? I mean, I don't understand. Like,
well, I would say
are very unclear.
No, I totally get what you're saying, but I will say this. If I'm thinking about my community as a mayor of that community, yes, the body was left in my town behind, and I don't know if that's been specified. If somebody does know in the chat room or anywhere else, let me know. I don't know if it's been specified how long the body was at that abandoned home. But if I'm the mayor of New Britain and that's where the investigation...
Farmington?
Sorry? I didn't hear your question.
No, I was going to say, so it's an abandoned, like, burned out building, right? Like a junk place where...
It looked like a home, but it very well could have been an apartment. But yes, it was burnt out. But it was found in New Britain. But my question, my statement is, as far as it goes to Aaron Stewart, is to say, okay, this was found in my town, and this just lagged there for whatever time it may have been. But if I'm going to be holding a press conference because the body's found in my town, I know exactly what I'm going to say because we don't know the details of said, circumstances yet.
I agree with that. If I was her, I would have said, listen, the New Britain police are only securing the scene for Farmington.
Right.
You need to refer to the Farmington mayor or whatever first election.
And that's, but no, hold on. There's something else, Fulton, that runs absolute counter to your point, is that, Mark in West Hartford has been trying to find out where in Farmington she may have died or she indeed was killed. The question is nobody seems to know where that is, or at least they're not making that information public. Because you're right, the Farmington mayor should say something about it. If it happened in his town, but they're not disclosing where that was.
Like, no one's saying, like, where she was a registered student. Like, she was in 8th grade. Like, teachers didn't miss her. Her cousins didn't miss her.
That's
didn't miss her.
Also, what I said earlier, the thing that drove me nuts was that today WFSB posts on their own feed that the courtroom was packed with Jacqueline's Josephine, I guess her name is, the mother, with the mother's family inside the courtroom.
That's the signaling thing they do, right? To make everybody feel bad. Like,
but wait a minute, even that's the case. I'm just saying that if you're the press and you're there, and all of her family members have shown up to this hearing, right, for a mother charged with murder.
Like, where have you been?
Exactly. Every one of those people are going to be questioned. They come in, it's like, okay, are you a family member? This young lady's been missing for a year. None of you folks noticed?
You haven't talked to your daughter, granddaughter since Christmas?
Exactly.
Nothing?
Exactly. A birthday has passed. Nothing. Clearly, exactly. No birthday, no nothing. None of you ever thought it's suspicious when you saw this family member?
Siblings?
Exactly.
They didn't go to school, and they were chained too. Like, what? There's not a lot of the story coming out.
This is the laziness of all of this. This is, I'm going to take the surface part of the story that a 12-year-old died and was found in a container, and then nobody's going to go beyond that. And when you look at it, as any normal person goes, wait a minute, that's it? That's all we're going to get? No one's going to go any further into this? Like, what happened? How this tragedy actually was allowed to go in, and none of the family members are being held to some account to ask where she
was in a basement for a year. And
exactly.
Those people were going to work or they were acting normal.
Exactly.
Like, that's derangement right there.
Exactly.
That's psychotic.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Fulton, thank you, buddy.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Again, like I said, none of it makes sense, and somebody should have just said, just one person. I know it's gotten to the point where, the news studios don't have reporters as much as they used to, and they only send cameras out, and then they bring back the B-roll, and then a reporter. But for the love of Pete, man, something like this, not one person is a bit curious. Like, what, an ounce of curiosity all of these people coming out. It just, again, it boggles the mind. It just does. I don't even know what to tell you. Anyway, all right, we got to get up out of here, and we got the rest of the week coming. I cannot wait until I get on the road and get to Connecticut. It's coming up really, really soon. So we'll give you updates on that, and we'll tell you when we're in town. We'll tell you where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing. I don't have any updates for tomorrow's show. But as usual, it'll be rip roaring as usual. Oh, I understand it. There's a poll that says people aren't. It's about the Connecticut Sun. I can't remember what the headline is. We'll get to it. All right. Let me say. I know it's old and it's useless, but I've been through my own birthday without even realizing it was my birthday. I'm never gonna be that bad. I'm never gonna be that bad. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you. We miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night. Pleasant tomorrow. Mark Christopher's getting you home. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Plan your work and work your plan. If only I'd done that when I was 22. Where would I be? I'd probably be a CEO of a company. But I didn't know you back then.
I would at least be a janitor at that company.
Well, there was a little bit of that going on, Roland. Yeah. There was some distractions along the way. Guys, have a great night. If you're westbound 84, you're tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge into the tunnel. 84.
All right, good sir.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Capitol Avenue.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow's hump day.
Hump day.
Moving well, Cromwell up into Windsor
It's
lots.
Roland's favorite
291
day.
384. Okay.
Other than Friday, that is.
Moving well.
Yeah, there you go.
Quiet
Good
little
night.
town.
All right, everybody. Wendy, good night. Michael A., thank you. As always, thank you. I had a good time. I will see you guys mañana. Fred asked, let me read his comment real quick. He says, please ask Robert Cool to reunite with his former lead singer, James Taylor. It's time to mend fences and tour again with him. Also, ask him about his days performing at the Oakdale in Connecticut, if he can remember them. Yeah, JT, let me tell you this, Fred. I will tell you this. Do you know my biggest problem with Kool and the Gang is the JT Taylor era? Because many people argue, and even Mark Christopher will attest to this, that era they really went top 40 and they kind of really abandoned the funk. And a lot of people had problems with that. Of course, like Celebrate and, Ladies Night was still a good record. Too Hot is another great record. I remember growing up to that. But yeah, you know what? I will ask him about James Taylor. I hope that's not off limits. He may lose it on me if I ask, but I'll bring it up. Thank you, Fred. All right, folks, time to get up out of here. Always check out the podcast. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com and also subscribe to the Substack so you can get the article every week on Sunday. And yeah, you're helping out Reese on the Radio by actually downloading the podcast. So if you listen to the show, if you missed it, you can do it there. All of that just by listening is actually created. It's actually monetized just by listening to it. And of course, it's free to listen to it. So make sure you check it out. All right, I will see you guys mañana. Be good to each other.